is on now.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newest episode of the third season of Second Sons. I forgot the number, so I will not say it.
9.
As always, Buzz is actually always wrong with the episode numbers in the YouTube thing, so I'm not trusting Buzz. So, as always, I'm Roy Rogers, formerly of the New York City Meta, currently of the Philadelphia Meta, live from my apartment with my fiance watching some BuzzFeed ghost show. And with me today is a slightly truncated version of our usual crew, Aaron Glazer, who is not allowed to talk in this segment. And I'm so happy to be joined by a man I will be seeing in 2 short weeks, the champion of my heart, former North American champion, Chris Schoenthal. How you doing, Chris?
Just hanging in there, trying to get ready for Kubla. It'll be good to see everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
It's been a stressful week or two, but Kubla's coming. It's like Christmas.
Yeah, you and the wife are coming to Kubla, right? So it's the whole Schoenthal family minus the tiny one.
That's right.
Cool,
So
that's exciting.
The whole
She's
adult.
not really that tiny.
She's tinier than the rest of us.
Aaron's pretty short.
And
am
back
the
from
shortest on
behind
the
the
cast.
scenes is everyone's famous second most handsome Swede in the Swedish meta, Buzz Aldrin. How you
Third.
doing, Buzz?
Third.
Third? Oh, so we got Jakob. That's one, right? We all
And
agree.
Ja-
So
And
and,
Rybeck is number 1, I
Yeah,
think, right?
and
Oh,
Rybeck
Rybeck?
is
Okay,
so
Rybeck.
Rybeck,
Then-
Jakob,
then Jakob,
Right,
then
yeah.
Buzz.
No,
Okay,
th-
I apologize.
Buzz
I've only met 2 of the
completely
3,
agreed.
so
Buzz
I can.
completely agreed. That was great. It's like, oh no,
So-
third, definitely third.
Third. So how you doing, Buzz?
I'm good. Back from a very, very wet, speaking of alcohol, weekend.
And last, but certainly least, because he's playing WoW, everyone's favorite WoW Throne streamer turned WoW casual player, Sandy Barnabas. How you doing, Sandy?
I had to leave Discord chat to do this podcast.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm actually super excited about Kubla. More because I have to figure out how to bring beer to swap for the beer swap, which is a real event. The cards are just whatever.
Can you not fly with beer?
No.
Not in my
Not in
area.
here.
Check.
Yeah.
No, it's just check.
Do I really want to check beer with my clothes in my suitcase?
I mean,
I brought Dennis some beer to Gen Con, so it's doable.
it's
but I
definitely
found,
doable. I've done it too. You can put it in a box if you're really that scared, right?
Yeah.
So
I found this Founder's bourbon barrel aged stout, which is like 12.3% alcohol. It's
we're
pretty-
gonna steadily lose Sandy throughout the episode to both alcohol delirium and to WoW. So be prepared.
12.3. That's not messing around.
I want to start today's episode off with a couple of news items. The first is happy birthday to founder of the show, co-founder of the show, John Darknaj Andrews, who turns,
Anastasia?
Anastasia, who turns like, I don't know, 1 million years old. I don't know. John's old.
I think he's
talking about
actually
Joe Collins?
40.
Joe
Yeah,
Collins.
I
yeah.
think he's actually 40. So
I think he's
big
39. I think he was
4-0.
38. Right?
Really?
I don't know if
I
he's
think
40 yet.
I think that was 2 years ago, dude.
2 years ago? I don't know.
I don't
Time
know,
flies.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I love Naj. Naj is one of my favorite Canadians, but another one of my favorite Canadians, and Matt Gelman, and John Soulmat. Oh my God, that makes sense.
Holy shit! Right?
Mate. Oh wow, I am messing up this first segment today. Soulmate Matt Gelman is also turning, I don't know, 12. Matt's very young. Today, so happy birthday to 2 out of my 3 favorite Canadians.
The third
And
one.
the third is sitting right over there.
Oh,
So.
that one. Yeah, that one makes sense because I was like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Not
it's not Sean. I'm super alt-right Emberly, right? Like,
John's 4, so he's in good company. But so I also want to congratulate. All right, let me make sure that I get his name right. I want to congratulate Wilco, who won the Dockside Brothel Days this past weekend. In the Dutch seem to, even though their entire economy was wrecked in the early modern period by flowers, they seem to really like Tyrell. All right, because that top 8 was 4 of the decks in the top 8 were Tyrell decks, which I think was super impressive and fun to follow this weekend. So congratulations to the Dutch on a really successful tournament.
Yeah, shout out to Alex Trigonakis for going King of Swiss and losing in the cut for probably the 15th time in his Thrones
He
career.
does.
That is kind of Trig's thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, because he plays decks that no one's ever seen before, but by the cut, people have seen it before.
Although I don't know if that's the case that
Or
Trig
tell
played
worse to come. It's not.
yeah, that's not like.
I'm sure his
Super-
version has like 5 bajillion events.
I mean, Trig, I think in second edition is much more of a like innovator / refiner, right? Because he's dumped a lot of stuff that ends up being pretty popular for a good long while, right? Because he's responsible for giving us Lannister with the Eerie, right? This time last year.
You know where he
Which is
made
like-
his name?
No, I mean he made his name first. I
Bloodthirst.
mean
No.
second edition.
Bloodthirst. He's the dude
yeah,
who broke Bloodthirst.
He's the original Bloodthirst.
Yeah.
He's the original.
Like
Bloodthirst.
I randomly played him on Octagon, and that's how Bloodthirst
Right.
came to America. I was like, I want this now.
Yes,
It's your
to
fault.
This.
chip in, he was known very much before that, but for I think Barra Black Sales being King of Swiss in Stalek and losing in the cup.
Bloodthirst predates Black Sails, dude.
Yeah, that's why he said. Does it?
Does
it?
it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Black Sails became popular. Like it was released, I
Yeah,
think, right after. But
it was
like,
released
became popular at
before.
the same time. Really?
But because it was released before, but because the nerf with the restricted list hit Barra Recursion and Bloodthirst at the same time, then it became popular.
Yeah.
Because that's when I switched over.
I know that's Steve, Sandy's best friend Steve Simone's favorite deck of all time. So is Barra Black Sail.
Pretty high on my list too.
But definitely congratulations to the Dutch.
Chris, is that mid range? That seems like mid range.
Oh,
Black Sails?
I don't know. But
Black Sails is totally mid range. At
you
least in
could
Barra.
listen to 2 White Book episodes ago now and talk about whether or not there was mid range first edition. Aaron and I disagreed. Anyway, so transitioning because there's not very much news besides Darkside's big success. Is that as of last Thursday, the 4th cycle ended with the release of Someone Always Tells, the 6th and final chapter pack of the. Is it a Feast for Crows cycle?
Watchers on the Walls.
No, that's the Night's Watch box.
It's Nice Box. Isn't the
Oh, is it?
title of the cycle?
What is it called? It's an Archmaester thing, maybe?
I
Maybe it's
mentioned
a
he was
Master
the first
pack.
pack.
Blood and Gold? Blood and Gold?
Blood and
No,
Gold was
that's-
the last one, I thought. There we
I
go.
don't know.
Let's find out.
To go to Thrones
I'm
TV.
just going to keep saying Thrones names until I get one right.
Until you get it right, Chris. It is
Sandal's
Hidden Agenda, The Kraken's Reach.
Flight of
uh,
Crows is the title of
Flight
the
of-
chat. Flight of Crows is the title of the 4th cycle, which I'll probably just refer to as the 4th cycle. The Crows cycle, there we go. That's another way you could call it. Which is, I actually think, been a pretty big success. But we're gonna chat a lot about that. But before we jump into sort of looking at the cycle as a whole, Aaron is going to kick off one of our more popular segments, which is top 5 cards from the chapter pack, which we actually prepared this time. He shared the list in advance, as far as I know, and Buzz, the diligent co-host that he did, has point by point punching back at Aaron. So this should be a fun segment.
All right,
Glazer, what is your number 5 card?
All right, you messed up every segment, but you're gonna yell over me. All right, 5. Bastard of Night Song is number 5. I think it's a card that Barra really needs, and like, it's genuinely terrifying when it hits the board. Like, you better have an answer, otherwise you're not gonna have power for long.
Yeah.
Too
Bastard
low
of
in my
Night
opinion, but
I mean, it's a real good pack.
it is.
Yeah. He was one of my favorite bear characters in second edition. First edition, I mean.
He was very good. And he was very good.
He was
think
so
he-
underrated. Yes, that
think he's-
stealing is so
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
I think
he was
he's
so
my
good at
favorite
Baron
Barra
Haynes
card,
first
Barra
edition.
character in second edition. I think he might be my single favorite Barra character in second edition.
He's up
Can
there
we
with-
stop? I know we're on number 5 already. Can we pause and give an honorable mention to what would be the top 5 card, which is Mace Tyrell if the other Mace Tyrell didn't exist?
But yeah, absolutely. Mace Tyrell would be better
That
than
thing
that
is
Night Song without other Mace.
Nuts. But
But will sit in your binder. At least it's
sadly-
the mace with the worst art. So
I mean, I said this on the White Book, but that Mace would see play in literally every other house except Tyrell. And in Thrall with almost any other name but Renly.
Maybe Marjorie.
Maybe, but even then, I think I'd play it over some Marjories. All right. Number 4 is Sam Bretts.
Yay,
I mean-
Sam.
Sam's a tricksy bird.
It's so
Sam
hard
is
to
the
put this at
trigger.
4, though. It could so easily be number 1. We just don't know.
Are
yet.
you stealing this from Jess's list? Because I think she's literally her top 4 is the same.
Mine's been done for 4
Oh
days.
no, sorry, 4 is
You know how
Sam
long
Bretts.
mine's been. You know how long mine's been done. I don't know what Jess's listed, but yeah, Crow's a Trixie Bird is probably broken, but it's hard to say.
Seems bad.
You need-
Sandy,
you need
continue.
you need gold in the plot phase. How do you get that? That's
You
too hard.
don't need
Escapes,
gold in the
escapes.
plot phase. I'm just
you
gonna
run Littlefinger's meta lane.
or
Guys, that's combo. We
no,
can't
Or-
have combo decks.
or here
or-
to serve.
Here to
Or
serve,
Kedri.
get Kedri. Yeah, yeah. There's lots of options. It's like real good. I think.
In your
I mean-
in your rather Nice Watch Conclave deck, Buzz, or Nice Watch Sun.
Going to Euros. Shh. Silence. No,
I mean, it's
he can be a binder card until someone breaks it, and it's just gonna be.
well, you know
nuts.
who's gonna break it if no one else does first.
His name is Nick Hansen because he's going to the big tournament before Sam Bratz is. So,
Okay.
I mean, they're gonna break it together. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
I mean,
But
Sam's going to come up with the list with Nick and Jake and Brad.
trust me, I'm
and-
always leaning on to give me lists, and
They
I'm
really like
curious which
Conclave,
will-
so
I'm curious which will win out in their fight between like make Sam's card totally broken or bust up Sid's ARL and make a combo deck that works past it. I'm wondering which of
they
those is
do
going to win.
both. Like
Black
that's all I'm saying. Like
I really hope somebody brings combo to Kubla because I'm going to crush them. I have the ultimate combo crusher deck, and it's actually not bad.
He's totally just taking the Terrell.
put- playing
Yeah,
Tyrell combo or Tyrell Bitterbridge?
Bitterbridge.
Bitterbridge does not
Bitterbridge.
crush combo. I played against combo a lot with Bitterbridge.
Depends what
Well,
combo.
since this is some unknown combo that we haven't even seen yet, we don't know.
It's
if it
true.
crushes it or
It's
not.
true.
I'm
All right,
counting
so-
on Jake Platt just being garbage at the game and not being able to play it.
Platt coming to Koopa?
So
I thought
then,
it was
if not,
just
I'm not
Hansen
worried.
is- I thought. But anyway,
Right. Number 3
Nick
is
definitely is. I don't know about Jake.
guys. We must go forward.
I'm
to go
undefeated
back.
versus Nick Hansen.
Number 3 is to go forward. You must go back.
I am super duper happy and sad with this card at the same time.
I
don't
loved Great Sept in first edition. It was restricted for a reason.
To
This-
claim wasn't the reason.
No, it was not.
Not
That had
really,
one
City
claim. It
Plot
was
might
still
have-
restricted.
City Plot didn't help.
It was but it was a city that only worked if you had no other cities,
Yeah,
and it was never your opener, so it wasn't really a city plot. It was a I'm not running city plots.
Whatever. It's you run 2 city plots. You run that one and the one to recur cities.
Yeah, probably not. Like that was a 102. You don't really want a bunch of cards with 1 gold. You just ran that one, like
But a second
refilling your
two-claim
hand.
plot?
But
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about the card in second edition. It's actually relevant.
In second edition, it's functionally accounting coppers and dominance, right?
yeah. My first thought right now is to drop my second counting in Targ and add a close call or whatever plot else I feel like, and run more.
So this actually makes my inclination to take to go from double counting 1 Littlefinger's meddling to double Littlefinger's meddling 1 counting in the Wars to Come deck, and just add 3 of these. Like literally, just add 3 of these 63 cards.
I mean, I think your restricted list might just be your restricted card might just be the one that goes to search you
Yes.
events, right? So you can get this whenever
Yeah.
you want.
Yep.
And then you can dump some those the ones
Dragon
that
is no
dragons
slaves.
get back, Dragon is no slaves in your discard and just call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that seems fairly gross.
I'm mostly curious how all the silly rulings are gonna end up with this card.
I
since
don't know them. I
According to
saw that
Colin,
there
it
are.
doesn't
Oh, yeah.
technically work.
Is it actually ruled that way? Like
Wait, what
poorly?
is it?
What's the
We don't know. There hasn't been an answer yet.
Wait,
but
what's the
according
question?
to Colin,
what's the question, Chris?
the
I really have
question,
missed it.
According to Colin, there's 3 separate ones, but the biggest one, in my opinion, is according to Colin, the way that it is worded right now, it never hits your discard pile because shuffling it in is a cost, so it shuffles in as part of your hand and just never goes to the discard pile at any point because it's part of the paying the cost before the effect resolves.
That is actually almost certainly how the rules work. They might just roll it not that way, but yeah.
I mean, then that's just
right.
then I almost certainly then that's a failure of proof. Probably what that is.
I mean, it's Alex Hines' fault.
Yeah,
I'm
Alex.
down for that. I'm always down for blaming Alex Hines.
I mean that's seriously like.
What's the other 2 questions around this card?
I'm gonna go try and find them real quick. The other two were less clear to me.
To permanently just recycle this card is like, no, that just can't. There's got to be a rat at the very least. If it's like,
well,
it needs a ruling.
You always have at least one card in hand.
Yes, then you would always have one card in hand. So this could be the only card in your
hand.
So
here are the questions that Colin brought up. He said, normally all costs are paid during step 4. In this case, each player may shuffle his hand in the deck as worded as a cost. First issue is that each player has to decide whether or not to shuffle their hand before they would cancel the event. So they would potentially have no cancel because it would be shuffled in if they used the effect. Secondly, the question I just brought up. So I guess there's only 2 really, but that one's also weird.
Wait, so it can't be the only card in your hand though.
Why not?
It could, right?
So you can just play.
The cost paid.
It can because it's the cost. At least one card includes itself, presumably, because it's events are never in play, so it's either in your hand or in the discard pile, right?
Jesus Christ, Hines.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there has been this has caused issues before,
Unless
right?
we have
about whether or not there's like a zone of like what happens when you play an event.
Unless we have
this seriously.
Just say Moribund.
Morbid. Not Morbid. I guess it would say like it leaves your hand to play the event, and then you do whatever you need to do,
so it would be
and then it goes to discard. But this has been debated before, right? If I remember correctly, I guess the answer was that it's in your hand.
Guys, one of the
I don't know.
Company creates Moribund also, so like Moribund is back, baby.
Well, Moribund never applied to events, did it?
Yeah, it always did. Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Because you would stack events, and then someone would
not stack events. Not stack events.
They were technically not stacked. They would be Moribund.
The whole reason Moribund exists is that there wasn't a stack.
Exactly.
Like,
so there
like
wasn't
they had just if they had just stolen Magic the Gathering stack, none of these problems would exist. But because Nate didn't want to do that, we have Moribund.
All right. Ready for number 2? Because this card is stupid. Someone always tells.
Card is also stupid.
Card is very stupid. This is the card, I think, in the game of everything I would unprint.
Bottom?
That or Heinz plot, right? Like one of the 2.
Heinz plot is, I would say Heinz plot over this.
It's I just hate plot cancel. I hate the entire concept. Like, it's not that I think this is especially broken, although it is. It's that I just hate it in concept. Like, I don't want this card in the game.
Sure, plot should be something that's kind of sacrosanct.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
For this cheap, this easy.
That's
if
the
it was
issue.
still a character.
I mean, if you
I'd be
cancel
okay with it.
events and I don't know, whatever else, but not plots. Plots should really, really be.
I mean, like that. It also
it doesn't. It can't cancel. It can't cancel when revealed, right? It can only cancel trigger effects.
No,
When
when
revealed.
revealed or triggered effects.
When revealed is triggered.
Yeah. It can cancel when revealed, either during the challenge phase for Reigns, for example, or if you have gold in the plot phase. Or
It's why Jakob's
similar.
plot had to say characters, locations, and attachments. Because if it said just say triggered effects, then you couldn't cancel. You couldn't trigger your plots.
or agenda or whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah, this cancels fucking your valors. This cancels your countings. It cancels functionally everything, but I think 2 plots. One is
anything with a passive text
does not. Well, I mean, of when revealed, it doesn't cancel when at Prince Thorn's behest, and one other I don't remember. Trading.
Not that you would cancel trading. Like I don't know why you would do that, but in this case, but yeah. Well, I guess you could try to cancel it. You flip trading, you cancel, but that seems what thing to do.
No, I think it's a
Well,
bonus.
if you're playing a Martell Brotherhood deck and you have the guys that are better when you have less gold than your opponent.
Yeah, but you're
you might
giving
use it
gold.
so you cancel it so you have.
No, you're giving your opponent gold at that point. So
Yeah,
that would give them more gold, so you would have less
don't know.
gold. right?
But
Oh, you're
Um,
canceling your opponent's trade, not your own.
okay.
Oh, okay. True.
All
All
right.
right.
Those are
Whatever.
the
That
plays.
is the cornerest of corner cases. However,
So I-
someone always tells also has the added benefit of bringing Viper combo right the fuck back. Which, you know, thanks guys. I missed Viper combo.
Yeah, the Hansi
I did.
was an integral, or whatever you say, part of
But-
the combo, and it was restricted, and now Mortel has it back.
Jesse is speaking in SoCal and goes, "Nice valor." Not SoCal, excuse me. In Wausau and goes, "Nice valor, idiot."
So
I do think-
I actually have a question.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead, Sandy.
I was gonna say I don't actually think Viper combo is a problem here because we have so much more burn.
Guys,
Burn is
breaking
like the
news.
natural predator.
Breaking news: Sandy doesn't think combo is a problem.
I'll
I don't
alert the
know.
media.
I beat combo at Worlds, unlike people that didn't attend Worlds or lost to combo at Worlds. So I didn't have
I
a problem
beat
with
combo
it.
at Worlds. I lost
Right.
everything else, but I beat.
Shots
Right,
fired.
beat combo. Matt beat combo. We brought a combo breaking deck. We understood that combo was going to be
So then, like, I mean, I think that one burn does actually
not Viper.
severely hamper Viper combo. Yeah, because subtractive effects happen before multipliers. So it's really,
No,
really
they
hard.
don't.
Even with,
No.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they do.
do.
Yes,
They
they do.
But-
that was
but
the
I mean-
ruling.
confirmed from Nate French.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
we
if you boost him up before with everything,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You every time a modifier is applied, you apply all additive modifiers and then multiply.
Yes.
I asked actually specifically before day one because I knew I'd be playing against that deck.
Danny, this is the ruling Danny made at Worlds.
I mean, Danny's
That's a
I mean,
terrible.
I agree that's not how
choice.
math. I wouldn't use retarded as an insult, as I tell my students you shouldn't use it as an insult.
Yeah.
But I would agree that it's not how math works, as far as I know. I
It-
asked my math
it
teacher
is.
at work, but
Well, no, it's because if you reduce it to 0 at any point, like you don't get to multiply it back up, right?
Yeah,
And
but
if you do +1 and then you multiply by 3, I don't know. It's
no, it
I think it
should
makes
definitely
sense.
be the order it happens.
it does
but
not
okay.
make any sense
No, it
to
doesn't.
me
That's
at
a
all.
terrible ruling.
it
Well-
was the ruling, so it makes
Yeah.
burn a lot better.
Is
against
that
combo.
is that in like
I
any?
think it's in the FAQ,
place?
isn't it?
Is it
Yeah,
okay?
it might be in the FAQ.
Good.
I think
If
they
it's
in the
it
FAQ
counts.
they released after Worlds. Yeah, so I think for whatever reason it's once you recalculate all modifiers so that you don't end up in a case where like you remove one icon and they add it back and then you remove another icon. The order of the effect shouldn't matter.
Hey, how are you burning Viper?
So you need crown,
Right.
So-
So you need crown
which you can see.
Or-
Which
Why can't you
and
claims him?
why can't you what?
consuming flames him when he goes into the. You
'Cause
need 3 burn pieces.
You need
That's
three.
what you
But
need.
no, but you have like
Jeez.
sure, but like hey,
Jeez.
the problem is even if you have all these other burn pieces, someone always tells exists.
Right, but you have Hand's Judgment and
So you have enough gold
If you
for
play it, yeah.
For 2 consuming flames and a hands, that's 6 gold.
yeah.
I mean,
that
you
doesn't
don't
seem
with that.
especially
Like,
likely.
So the
what
way
are
you do it.
what's
So
saving the
I was
gold for-
testing this with Darknage. So basically, what you have to do is you have to hard mulligan for your
Crown.
crown, and then you can do it. You just need crown.
or you play the Wars version that runs Annals and you just Annals on their combo turn.
Yes,
Yeah, but they can. Okay,
that's another thing. That's what I was doing too.
sure. But then
Yeah,
they
but
also
then
have
you need
whatever
to
they have in their
go
discard pile, right?
second
Like,
as well.
this is yeah. All right. So
You don't
someone
have to
else
go
tells.
second. You
If-
can do it with just
This
events.
is exhausting.
So I don't. Yeah.
Anyway,
Lord.
burn-
So
here's the-
Platt,
can I just
Platt
say one
says Lord Renly's ride says we don't care.
so here's the key thing though about combo. So if you are super afraid of combo and you want to play a traditional Thrones deck, you just play Targ Wars like with New Danny. Like that's the safest. Like not breaking your deck.
You know.
playing a
You know what's
kill.
decent against
That's
it?
my
too?
advice. Wow.
If they only have Viper out, and they very often do, Ramsey Snow.
Oh yeah,
That's your nice Viper idiot. It's just like, all right, thanks, brother. Boom. Sit in the discard pile. I'm gonna win now. We're done. We don't have to keep playing this, right? Like you can scoop. You have no more characters. I feel like this is I'm gonna win.
Bartel Wolf is also pretty good against Viper and
Or
Hyperborea.
there's a Lannister Wolf that's just waiting.
All
There's a Lannister Wolf, and then Stark is good again.
but I wanted to say that because a lot of people have been complaining that people don't offer solutions to combo, and I've tested against combo a lot. Targ Wars is a very safe bet if you would like to do it.
I mean, no offense to all the amazing players that are playing Targ Wars, but I honestly think that deck is as close to idiot-proof as you can get. Like, you just play whatever you draw, and you win most of your games, unless you're playing against another Targ deck.
Hey, let's talk about idiot-proof cards. Number 1, the Driftwood Cudgel.
Danny?
The Driftwood Cudgel. No, this is not an idiot-proof card because there's gonna be a lot of people who fuck this card up. Pardon my friend.
But okay, fine. It needs if you're yeah, but you have to be a total idiot.
Well, I think by definition it's not idiot-proof then.
Then fine, you are right.
So how many dumb cards are we up to in this pack now?
How many?
Because this card is dumb. How many dumb cards is in the pack?
In this pack, 5.
Yeah.
I think 4 cards are dumb, and Bastard of Night Song is close to dumb, and Mace would be dumb if his name wasn't Mace. So yeah, like you were like,
What
man,
about-
Bastard of Night Song should be higher. Oh, you're putting it above Crow to go forward. Someone always tells him Driftwood Cudgel, eh? Like probably not. Yeah, I hate Cudgel, by the way. Like,
And another like, oh, didn't proofread this. With the
Oops, we
Valor
didn't put a
combo.
limit on it.
It's not even the limit. It's just if it had been a reaction, it's
Sure.
that simple. Like reaction just solves all the problems.
so
But
it's
it
just
wouldn't
the
because then it because we don't
Right.
know more about.
you have 6 fucking. Ugh.
Yeah,
If
that's true.
si-
Lars,
like
you're right.
if you
Oof.
have 2 of these out and 3 Ground God, you're getting 6 power on your whatever Valor or Wildfire turn.
Unless
with
they
Wild.
reveal King in the North, and then you're getting 0 power.
Unless you have
Okay.
Balon.
Yeah.
And then
Which-
you're getting 1 power.
You
Okay.
probably don't play Balon in this kind of deck though.
No, but
Yeah.
you can very easily run the King attachment.
that you do.
That's actually a great point. Yeah.
And this deck just gets better when there's the Rookery. Well,
Yeah. That deck
I
the
don't-
deck is either broken or will be within the next month.
Yeah, I think this deck is good in Rookery format. I don't think it's better than like the Tyrell Knights Rush or other like kind of good decks that are tier 1.5. I think it's pretty fragile.
Hey, Sid's here.
yeah.
Why is he in the chat and not on the
Because
cast?
What? He and the wife have to do some stuff in a bit. So.
Okay, I'm like, why did SoCal do that? Like, SoCal thing.
So I've done it too when I've got something to do and I can't be on the cast the whole time. But yeah, I think Drown God is like a more. I mean, unless you're playing that like hyper combo-y version that was just posted in the Facebook group that Europe apparently has that I'm not 100% convinced is consistent. But if you want to play like I think that the nice thing about Drown God is it's like slower than other combo decks, so it's like less apt for disruption. Like you can like take your time and get to the point where you really do lock it down.
And there's
But-
nothing your opponent can do.
Well, there's things your opponent can do because Rush. It's a fairer deck in that sense. Like if you're running a Rush deck, or you can just beat this deck. Unless
It's not gonna
apparently
win a lot of challenges or survive a lot of challenges.
challenges, right? It doesn't have challenge control or anything like that. Unless this like European version really is the real deal, it doesn't win like turn 1 or even turn 2 unless you literally see everything, which is not as easy for this deck as it was for the ladies deck or is for Najbo.
No.
So
I mean, it seems to
it's like a
hit it
turn
by
3, turn 4 win.
It's turn 2, turn 3 usually from what I've been seeing.
I mean, I think Lanny Crossing just beats this deck 100% of the time.
Yes.
Between the intrigue challenges to rip apart their hand.
That doesn't work against this deck, except for unless you get the events, because the characters go into the dead pile. That just seeds.
Right? No. You're looking for the cudgels. You're not.
I mean,
looking
if
for
they
the-
have the
you don't
ribs,
care about
like-
The cudgels are
Yeah.
in play, man. Like, no, the cudgels aren't out of play.
When are they in play? Turn 1, like you. played
Yeah,
in
you
turn
just
1?
start
You always
sticking
play the
cudgels to
cudgel
people.
against
The second
Lannisters.
you get it, yeah. You just stick it in
that's
play.
fair.
It's a 1-cost thing. It's not like it's going out of play unless they run confiscation.
But Landing Crossing does beat it close to 100 to 90% of the time. Tyrell
Yeah.
Rush is up there as well. Like Tyrell Bitterbridge needs to has the hard mulligan for like its renown. because Mace is still a little too slow. Unless you set him up turn 1, it can trigger him every single phase. But Tyrell and
Shadow's coming.
I don't
Greyjoy
actually.
Wars
Like,
can beat if it goes fast enough, but
Is
It's
there a
like-
control deck? Is there a
It's going
control deck
fast.
that beats this? I don't think there is.
Holy shit! Yo, the Celtics are up 11.
That's
That's just for show and ball. Sorry.
Martell.
Get him.
Yeah, Martell has problems with this deck pretty badly.
Faith Millicent can beat this? Is that what Jesse's saying? I don't know.
Yeah, the brothers robes thing. It can blank.
I don't know if Jesse's Faith Militant
he's
point was
just
about
saying
this
Faith
deck
Militant.
specifically.
Oh, it's about
I
Rookery.
think that was about when Roy mentioned the Rookery format.
Yeah.
But I do think this deck does get stronger though with the format. But yeah, I think Drown God is an interesting archetype, and people will probably be sick of it. But I think it's going to play differently than a lot of the other combo.
I don't think it'll play any more interactively though.
No, I think its closest comparison is a wall deck.
Mm-hmm. It's much closer to a wall deck, but because there are clearer answers and clearer counterplay.
Yeah, you know what that would mean? You know what that means?
What?
Expect Roy to play it.
Is there a Greyjoy Watch deck that just runs the wall in addition to this garbage?
No,
No?
because you need to.
No, because you need the Drown God bullshit. Yeah. By the way, people are going to be confused. What's the key location in the deck?
Tiger's Ribs.
No,
Olwick.
Oldwick.
You think
Old
Oldwick's
Wick.
better in that
Yeah.
deck? I'm not convinced.
Yep.
This is actually okay.
I've played
we're-
against it a bunch.
We're
the
we're
past few
going
days.
into our testing group's data where there's a school of thought that says that
It's my school of thought.
Olwick is the best, and the other one, aka everyone else, including Dark Nodge, think that Naga's Ribs is
No,
a better
Dark
card.
Dark Nodge agrees with me, except in certain versions of our builds. We've got a lot of builds. And
I'm pretty
meanwhile,
happy to be
you're
on
looking
Dark
at me.
Nodge's
Can you
side
look at what
of them.
Jesse's posting in the chat?
I'm looking at Jesse.
But Jesse's like a garbage player. Like,
Oh, he's saying
Old
Olwick now? See, he's a traitor.
Alright,
He's a
no,
traitor.
that's coming from a Clansman player.
Look, and so is Matt. Also, look at the. You won't be spoiling tech. What other tech is he spoiling?
Yeah.
The Old Town Scholar and 3 Dragon's Tales is gross.
So anyway,
Oh, it hurts.
it hurts. All right. So that's
I'm just
the
playing High Sparrow in every deck. Like, screw you guys.
top. Anyway,
High Sparrow
So,
Brothers, right?
that's kind of the top 5 cards. I think the general assessment is this pack in particular is gross. So we're moving on to a new
Can
segment.
I just wait one more thing? I just want to say one more thing about the grossness of this pack. Like, there's gross packs. Like, there's the Flea Bottom Begging Brother, something else really good pack. And like,
yeah.
Marlon
Ryan
Tyrell.
Jones cards.
like
Flea Bottom, Begging Brother, Ryan Jones card.
yeah, like those 3 were like gross cards, right? But like they were fun gross cards. Like as bad as Flea Bottom is, short of like 2 interactions, it's at least a reasonably like interactive cards you can do things with, and like your opponent knows what you can do, and yada yada yada. These cards like are all just giant pain in the asses to the meta, right? Like, do any of these make the meta a better place?
Yeah.
Master of Night Song does. It makes
To
Bear
go
faster, so it gives Bear more
to
answers.
go forward, you must go back. That makes the meta a better place.
I think to go forward, you must
Yes,
go
it-
back is a genuinely annoying card.
It
Like,
makes Targ better. How can it be a bad card?
Targ is
There's
the
no
most.
bias here, is there, Sandy?
But I mean, to be
No,
fair
I'm saying
though,
okay.
the best traditional Thrones deck in the meta right now is Targaryen. It's
Isn't that an argument we'll
Martell.
get to? I tried to say that
No.
in our chat, and Glazer told me that it was
I
third
still
best.
I don't agree with that. I think Targ is the 3rd best deck. We'll get there. We're gonna get Targ.
No.
soon. This
But
is a good point of transition, right?
it is.
Targ is a good,
So-
fair deck. It doesn't do unfair things.
Okay,
But yeah, let's
we'll get to
transition.
that. Okay. So I want to launch a new segment that will go into these sort of wrap-up episodes, which is I will ask each of my co-hosts to pick one card in this cycle that surprised them, that they thought was going to be terrible or mediocre, but ended up being really good, or if not really good, at least much, much better than we said on this cast. The White Book said, I don't know. Those are the only people who really review cards at this point, or the Card Game DB, the true villains of the, or now they're on the AGOT
Card
cards.
Game DB exists.
But it's now on AGOT cards. The AGOT cards reviews. So, whether high quality content like the White Book or all those other reviews, and then also pick a card that underwhelmed them or disappointed them, cards that they thought were going to be busted, broken. Oh my God, we're all going to be complaining about it at the end of the cycle, but ended up not being. And I know the person who was most excited about this segment over here was Sandy Barnabas. So Sandy, lay it on. Which card was overrated? What was your overrated card for the cycle?
Let me preface this by saying this is the only segment ever in the history of this podcast I've ever done any sort of pre-work for. And I looked at Thrones DB and I looked through all the cards. So I think the most underwhelming card, and maybe Chris will agree with me on this, is Asha Greyjoy. People were complaining constantly about how overpowered this was going to be and how great it was going to be for Greyjoy and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a good card. Don't get me wrong. It's a good card, but it completely failed to rocket Greyjoy to the top of the rankings as people predicted it would.
Man,
Did not solve...
What beat you at that last tournament?
What tournament?
The one that Todd beat you twice. Only losses.
It certainly wasn't Asha Greyjoy.
It was Balon. That was a Balon deck.
It was Barring the Gates is what beat me. But yeah, I think Asha Greyjoy was played up too much. Her ability is powerful, but it's certainly not unfair. It's certainly not overpowered. She is worth 7, but that's it. So
I think the problem with that, and I don't disagree with you in terms of raw power level. She's incredibly good. I'm happy to have her in a deck, but I agree that she doesn't single-handedly boost the faction like some people said. But I think a lot of the arguments against her weren't about power level. They were about the fiddliness of her, and that has proved to be absolutely true.
That is fair. As far as most overwhelming, good, positively whelming card. Whelming. It's Hightower Spy. So this is the 3-cost ambush Tyrell character that reveal the top card of your deck, and choose a
I love that card.
Yeah, I was underwhelmed, but it was actually really good. It's really kind of amazing the level of synergy that card has with every other card in Tyrell.
Sorry, Jesse's commenting in our group chat.
What? I'm
Don't
not
worry
in this
about
group
it.
chat.
You are not.
All right. Well, then I see the way it is.
You're welcome.
I feel the same way, Sandy.
I'm gonna get Jesse drunk this weekend and make him mad.
The whole son's just like grumpy. All right. Yeah. Jesse's response was fed. So Naj posts the Greyjoy combo deck, and Jesse's immediate response is, "This game sucks." Perfect reply.
We're all switching to WoW, by the way. When this game gets too annoying, we're all going to start a WoW guild.
Well,
this game sucks.
So okay, I think those are both pretty good picks. You stole my my overwhelming or most improved or most surprising card, Hightower Spy. So I'll have to come up with something else, Sandy. But yeah, I think Asha is a pretty good pick. I think she falls into the similar thing of like Marjorie from Aaron and I talked about that when we did our sort of end of 2017, which is like a card that's good, but not as like, oh my God, the world is going to end. This card's going to break the game. Good. So, and I'm as guilty as that with everything about Asha. She's been powerful, but not like feeling like my soul is crushed when I play against her. So.
I also didn't think she was that great, and I got yelled at.
All right,
2 for 2 motherfuckers.
So, what do you got
for us? Tournament, like in this decade.
I should probably go to a tournament first. I'll get there.
Buzz, what do you think? What did you pull for yours?
I haven't really found a card that I found was like overwhelmingly positive, well, overwhelmingly good or whatever compared to what me and people thought. I did find one card that I truly think is underwhelming compared to what people thought, and it was Ariane Martel, the big Ariane. Way underwhelming compared to what people thought, and no, maybe it's just only because Ariane exists. But I mean, there are fringe decks that play her, and most of them would have been better off playing Ariane.
I agree. I was hoping for her to do better, and I think she still has a chance to. I think there's probably decks out there, especially because the Martell box has been so unexplored that eventually she might find a home, and I hope she does because she's really cool. But so far, I've been underwhelmed by her.
She's really, really good in Starfall. The problem is if you don't see at least 2 great hauls, she's so hard to use. Yeah. Like if you see 2 great hauls, she's unbelievable and dominates boards, and she's really Martell's only good answer to Mace, which matters. But like the problem is like if you see 2 great hauls in Ariane, you're just like, I just won this game. I'm gonna sit there and watch you try and do things. I'm gonna bounce all your the game's over. You don't know the game's over. You think you're ahead, and you have no shot. Because I'm just like I've played with Gas and Gray an awful lot, and I know exactly how to do this. And like if you don't see that second great haul, you just sit there real sad with 1 card on the board. Like really wish I could do this.
I played against Jerry Crane at Jesse's tournament, and he was playing a Martell Wolf that had big Arion and big Eddard, but he just found no economy the entire game and just couldn't play anything. It was pretty unfortunate because like I looked at the cards that he had in his discard pile at the end of the game, and I was like, damn, this seems like it'd be a cool deck. But he just never was able to deploy them.
She's a higher variance card than
the Quarian. So I think a lot of the problem is, and like this is leaking into a later conversation, bestow cost should have been able to be paid on setup. If bestow cost can be paid on setup, your Iron Bank is now a very different card, and it's significantly better.
Redesigned if the
I don't think so. I don't think so. You're just paying 2 gold on setup to like it changes the game, sure, but I don't think it changes the game in any real negative way. Like, because it still is vulnerable to like blanking and milking, or not milking, Rosoing and all your location destruction things as ever before. It just
makes Targ even stupider, though.
I don't think it's especially. I don't think Iron Bank is good in Targ at all. I think that's one of its worst holes.
I'm talking about Astapor.
Oh, I mean, look. You want to spend 5 gold on setup for that? Like, I'm ultimately okay. Look, like, I don't think that makes Targ significantly better. I think that makes Targ better.
Astapor Dragon 1-drop.
Yeah, I mean,
Astapor Dora Viserys 0 cost location.
Yeah, like, look, these are good things that are gonna happen. I think that's really great. Fine, but like.
Even a 3 gold Astapor is fine.
I'd be fine totally with that kind of thing happening. Like, there's enough location control in the game at this point where I don't feel like anything but 4-cost locations are a real problem. I think being able to set up a Begging Brother with a couple gold on it, even if it's only 1, totally changes a lot of the game. And I think all of the changes that I can think of, and we've got a giant list of bestow cards, so tell me if I'm wrong, are fairly positive.
I actually totally agree.
The segment creep is real in the show.
Sorry.
But yes, we could just talk about it now.
That would fix Archeon.
It would fix Arion. But I mean, I think I want to wait. I want to let Chris tell us what his cards are.
Setup, motherfucker. All right, go ahead.
Chris, what do you got for us?
To me, so my overperforming card was a card that I never thought it was awful, but I thought it would be a role player, and instead it became a reason to play that faction, and that's Tris Botley. He was like just an average like 2.5 or 3 on card game DB, and he's just insane. Like if I'm playing Greyjoy, like I want 3 of him in the deck, and he's a power monocon. Nobody really expected him there, but with the rise of combo, the rise of Targ, he's just an all-star.
Yeah,
it's good against Martell.
And he makes me look at the Kraken banner a lot more often than I used. Because he's non-loyal.
Mm-hmm. And then for my underperforming card, I was told by a co-host of this show that this card would absolutely break the Rose banner open and we'd see it everywhere. And I haven't seen any Oathkeeper decks recently.
Oathkeeper.
So I don't know what happened. I thought that was going to be just a stellar card. It's turned out
it's waiting. It's waiting for the right synergy.
Oh my god!
There just aren't good enough characters.
It's really great in Todd's. It's really great in Todd's deck.
It is.
Because
that card runs characters.
I feel like it's the only deck I actually wanted him, but it's really great in that deck.
A big issue for it Oathkeeper, by the way, for those who missed, is why would you play Rose Banner when you can play Tyrell? It's just so good.
We're gonna have to
That's
do
what
a
I'm
why is Thrall such a problem in the meta episode relatively soon.
Probably, particularly when Shadows comes out. So we
well,
still got some time.
Because everything shifts around the axis that is Tyrell, right? Like what's good and bad and what you have to play and not play shifts around the axis that is Tyrell, and I don't think that sort of weight in the meta is necessarily healthy.
I mean,
So-
I could see them being like fine. However, let's disregard Mace because he's just stupid. However, it has a plus matchup against Martell and Targ, which are like the two other problem houses. So
Does it have a plus matchup against Martell these days? I thought it was still a minus.
Yes.
Tyrell,
I lose to
Tyrell,
Martell Wolf.
oh, I mean, non-Tyrell Rush. Tyrell Rush can have problems with Martell, but Tyrell like Summer or Tyrell Bitterbridge just
Reigns
beats up on Martell.
beats the fuck out of Martell too. They get
I
real
lose to
sad.
Martell Wolf with that. I mean, I don't know.
wait, with your
I mean,
Bitter
maybe I'm
Bridge?
bad.
With new Arya helps Martell Wolf a lot with against
Yeah,
Bitterbridge.
I mean it's
But-
a question of
Not
timing
about a
and
lot.
patience.
Like Danny still kills her.
Again, for the Tyrell match. Danny's
the
not in the
Tyrell-
Tyrell match usually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
what I'm
very
saying is
I know. I just
Martell
meant.
Wolf was
I
an
thought we were
almost
saying Marcel
auto
Wolf in
win.
general.
Like I had like an 80%
Yeah.
win rate against Martell Wolf with the Bitterbridge before new Arya on, and that's dropped to like 60.
Yeah, it's
50-ish
about 60% in favor of the Tyrell. Like if every time I've won that matchup, I felt like I outplayed my opponent. Like I don't think I've ever won just because the deck won.
Let's remember
Yeah,
that
maybe
60% is a huge number in card games.
Yeah. It's
You
just
were probably over
but
exaggerating. Probably closer to 55,
yeah,
35.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
that
like,
bitter bridge has
52.
like a silly good matchup with almost everything, right?
Mm.
Like unless like I think Karg
Barring.
and Karg with Extreme Burn and Martell Wolf are the only decks that are honest that have a real chance against it.
The Greyjoy Rose.
well,
Like,
the
Joy-
double barring, but that's not honest.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the double barring. Like it's specifically
That's
text for
honest.
bitter.
You
So
play big
okay,
characters,
but
you turn them sideways, you
sure.
win
But it's
It's honest.
specific tech. It's specific tech, right?
Yeah.
Like it's built specifically to beat that deck. So sure, it beats the deck it's specifically built to beat. But like nothing that isn't built specifically with that in mind, it beats it.
So here's my attitude towards Bitterbridge compared to say Combo is I think Bitterbridge is a really kind of healthy deck that's really, really strong because there's clear answers, and these clear answers aren't like targetable, right? And it's clearly targetable. Like if you play that Greyjoy Rose deck and you run into a Bitterbridge or even some Tyrell Summers, you're gonna just roll them. You're just gonna roll them, and and it's hard for them to do counterplay.
You say a Tyrell Rose there.
Or excuse me, did I say Greyjoy Rose? I meant Greyjoy Rose. I apologize. But the Greyjoy Rose that Todd played that almost beat Jake, and things like that. Like it's a very targetable deck, and it can just roll over things that aren't prepared for it. But if you prepare and think about, okay, I'm worried about Tyrell Bitterbridge, or I'm worried about Tyrell Summer, particularly big guy Tyrell Summer, the lower to the ground one that won Dockside, I think a little bit less answerable. But definitely the big guy one, like you run double barring, you run all those things, you will beat it.
Sure, but that's the same answer that Sandy always had for combo. If you run specific tech, you will beat it. So
Sure.
like you didn't like that
Specific
answer
tech
then.
that are
At
generally
what
good.
point in the meta do we get to you have to run specific tech for 4 different decks and
Yeah,
can't do it?
yeah. Which is why
Well, or you
Just
just
thought
run
healthy.
one of the 4 different decks.
and then you're playing rock paper scissors with the other 4 different tech with the other 3
It's not
of
a
those
lot
decks,
hard
right?
game
Like
to boil down to though.
yeah, I mean yes, but it doesn't
So-
have to.
I mean, I
Does it-
guess what is the alternative? What are the different? I mean, just as like devil's advocate, either one deck is on top, or there's a bunch of decks that are rock paper scissors. Like there's no.
It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of the percentages. It's a matter of the matchups being like 60-40 instead of the matchups being 80-20.
So I would argue that if we had that, people would say that the game had too high variance because it's whoever sees their economy first wins, or whoever sees their first big guy wins, which is exactly
Sure,
what
the
we have.
bad players might say that. Like,
Mid-range Chris. All right, let's move on. We're going to
All
go
right.
in the same conversation we always have.
Chris, did you do both of your cards?
yep.
Okay, cool. So for me, most disappointing card was Darkstar, who I thought was going to be all
one?
over the place. The one from the
the
cycle.
other one
in
is
the
not in the
cycle.
cycle. It's in the
Yeah,
box.
The one
he's
that's
talking
in the
about the
cycle.
cycle.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
the cycle one.
We
There's only
are.
one in the cycle.
Yeah, the one in the cycle. I thought he
You
was going to
sure?
be everywhere. Yes, I thought he was going to be everywhere. He's a good card, but like,
Good card.
yeah, but I thought he'd be everywhere. I thought you would see him a lot. I thought, particularly once the Martell box came out and you had HRD Starfall running around, that you would see him more. But I have had him played against me, and I have been consistently underwhelmed by how he performs.
You thought that card was good?
Yeah, I did.
I mean,
it's a good. It's a good card.
it's a
It's
good
good, not
card.
great.
It's a worse version of Lost Oasis.
Yeah,
Sure, Lost Oasis.
Yes,
was
it's the worst
fucking
version.
Lost
bonkers.
was
Yeah,
dumb.
We're talking about
Oasis
from first
is
edition.
absurd
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
non-unique and a location. That's a terrible
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean,
That could give stealth and kneel anyone. Huh.
the big issue for Darkstar is that his card color is orange. He competes with so much other stuff, and the orange cards are good. So
The 5-cost orange cards you play are like sometimes
Nymeria.
Nymeria, Arion, and then Obara, right? Like
Yeah.
that is a crowded.
Oh, no,
slot
no,
of
no.
Seriously,
you
insane
play
cards.
3x Bastard as well.
Bastard of Gods? No, I don't.
Oh
3x?
yeah, 3x.
I'm fine to play 1. I don't know about 3.
Hey, Warsaw, where? Yeah,
I know.
come save me.
I know. Wessa loves their 3-ofs.
That's their
I
jam.
need to,
Magic
need
players to the
fig-
heart.
I genuinely need to figure out how to do that because I can't. Like that 3-of thing, I'm still too first edition in my blood where I'm just like I just want to run 1-ofs everything. 3-of some events, 3-of some locations, and then 1-ofs a bunch of characters is like my life. I run like 2 core Arion out of like principle.
My Martell Wolf deck for War, it was all about the 3x of the uniques. It was
Yeah,
Almost
like
like you had
heavily on
we were
that.
building with Wassa people and Alex Black.
Well,
I've
Nick,
got to
but
learn
yeah.
to build that way. It's the big hole in my building right now because I never build that kind of deck. What was that dude? There was some dude on Card Game DB right at the start of the game who posted 1 million decks that were just 3 of all the big dudes that were like really good and drove us all crazy.
The guy who kind of came up with the first version of the Targ Lion,
Yeah.
the Smash Brothers. First
Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Like, and it was
Who
just
did
like,
build that
I'm
deck?
running
I
3 of
have no clue.
literally every card.
Was a guy in Canada, you said?
No, it was just a guy on Card Game
Game
DB
DB.
who was very
Yeah.
in the Facebook group too. I don't remember.
I don't.
So
So
I don't
wait,
was.
if you're when you say that somebody was annoying near the beginning of the game, there's only one person that comes to mind for me.
It wasn't
Uh,
Mirando.
it's- No, there no.
Miranda wasn't
I mean,
around
there's been exactly 2 people in the history of this game that have annoyed me, and so one of them was
We weren't around.
a London player.
Tagore.
No, it was not Sparrowhawk. It wasn't
Okay.
Sparrowhawk. Sparrowhawk was never good enough.
He did post a lot though. His posts were huge.
He
Yeah,
was-
I stopped reading them basically.
But yeah, he wasn't necessarily good.
No, he was
Wow.
necessarily not good.
Tagore's never annoyed you, dude? Have you
No.
met Tagore?
Yeah, I met him with you. We
I
met
know.
him together.
He annoyed us.
You
We
did.
got
We went to a
drunk and
bar.
yelled at him for like an hour.
I mean, do that to a lot of people.
That sounds entertaining, not
Yeah.
annoying.
Tagore is
That's
an
what Sandy did the
acquired
first time I
taste.
met him. So
Yeah, I
he
made
got
him
really
stop,
drunk and yelled
by
at me
the
for
way.
like 2 hours. So
Did not. I made him stop after like 15 minutes. This felt longer. I was like, "Can you leave him alone now? We like him."
but good.
He's in the "I
good-
beat you, you're a piece of shit" mode.
uh,
Roy, your other
yes.
one?
Oh, and then the card that I found that overperformed was actually another Martell card, which is, let me make sure I get her name right, Doria Sand. A card that I thought was going to be a role player, I guess you could say, but actually ends up being like really, really strong. And I've become really, really actually afraid of this card because the way in which it can sort of whittle down boards, like it's helped Martell like a lot against both builders and the Tyrell Builder Bridge. Like the ability to sort of like pop one of the characters that you're using to maintain your board state that can open you up for the other challenge tricks that they have that can get you down to, it's like, oh, my mace is safe, I have 4 characters. Well, the small one goes to Doria, then you do this, and then suddenly it's just my mace with 7 power sitting on him. That's my only character left. I'm like, oh, okay,
This
like
is
this
how-
card's a lot better. And with the more sand snakes from the box, she's just scaled really well. So I've been extremely impressed with Doria.
She's. I was gonna say I thought you meant the one itself, but no, this one's really good. I think this is my
pretty good.
like you can flea bottom her in to bounce
Mhm.
somebody in challenges. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I played against Scott a lot, and Scott owned me with this card a whole lot.
I can see.
It
I can
sucks
see your.
for Tyrell.
I can see your argument after the Martell box when they received more Sand Snakes, but before that she was just a high roller card. I mean, sometimes
Oh.
she was so good, but
No,
before that
it's-
she was no.
No, because you just use
Consistently
her to
returning
set up
free
your
drops.
march. That's literally all you do. You used her to set up a march. Like they would be like, I have 4 characters, I'm totally safe. Like one's duped. Like you military, you get that claim. They're like, I still have 3 dudes. You bring her in, now they have 2. Like you just Ari on her end, you Venomous Blade, then now they have 1, and it's just like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna march your big guy now. And like you
They're gonna
can't
be like,
stop
oh, someone always tells.
it. If they're playing Martel also, sure.
Yeah.
No, but that is
I
something.
wholeheartedly disagree with this. I think I understand your argument now after the before that she is not super decks.
I like Bastard Daughter an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah,
could
I
just easily
love
be a
me
meta
some
thing.
Bastard Daughters.
So-
I think
What-
she's a 1 of. She's not a 3 of. I know that makes her useless to you, but like she's a 1 of. So like you don't run 3 of her. You run 1 of, and then like you usually get to use her twice because she's real nice and easy to march.
There was a lot of games like that she was popping like 3 cost characters that you plan to use for claim soak in a lot of decks when we were testing like the deck that Scott won Starpike with my tournament. I should know the name. And just popping that surprise 3 cost character and then plus that really fucking annoying Southbound Messenger that is like is just really frustrating to play against. It's the kind of NPE that I complain about while other people complain about walls and maces. So that's my 2 cards. It was a pretty good segment.
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh,
I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go. I thought I usually start with you, Glazer. Go ahead,
Eric,
Glazer.
His is in the dock,
on the
right?
segment. We know.
So my underperforming card, I think the card that has most disappointed me is the House with the Red Door.
So I
Oh.
disagree.
Okay, cool.
We'll get
I'm glad you let him get that out.
I think it is really good in extremely few builds. Where in first edition it opened up like 1 million new builds. It's opened up like 2 T1
5.
builds in second edition, if that. And it's too easy to answer. And for the very high majority of decks, the setup cost is too much.
Mm,
I agree with you on the setup cost.
I think
But-
the game is not mature yet for HRD. I mean,
I
it's
hope
gonna
so.
it's gonna be so insane, and it's still really really good for a few builds.
2.
3. But
What
wait,
is-
what are your 2?
27.
I mean, Bitterbridge
Mhm.
and the Targ one, the Plaza. And I think
and Starfall
that's T2.
and
Starfall.
I don't think
Starfall's
Starfall's
great.
great.
It's T2.
and
Starfall is not
Builders
solid.
until
It's tier
until
one.
Plaza is also not T1.
Builders was-
Plaza is worse than Starfall.
I mean, Builders' only problem is Louise.
So
Builders-
Louise, I know you're
look,
watching.
Seriously,
Grand
but
Theft.
Builders so here, Builders was T1 before it. It might have been the best Builders after a while, but like
Probably.
Builders never needed HRD. It
And
did.
It,
I agree.
it needed to
I
start running a
agree.
reset.
I would
It-
say that HRD Red Cape is also best Baratheon build.
Really? No,
Yes.
it's HRD Dragonstone Castle that's better than Red Keep.
Yeah, I think.
But either way, while that's the best Barra build, that's T. So
Tier 2.
Aaron's
Fine.
underselling.
Fine,
It's
but
better
like
than that.
fine,
I-
but I remember what HRD was. HOD was like it was
Yeah,
like
opened up.
here's
Ubiquitous, yeah.
10 new builds that are all T1 or pushing T1 that you've never seen before that are completely opened up in interesting new ways, and now we've
So-
got 2 new T1 decks and we can't even agree on how good those are.
So I actually think that Buzz's point is valid here in that how many T1 decks are there right now in Thrones?
We're gonna get to it.
Segment bleed.
Right.
Segment.
Yeah. So 2, I think adding 2 to that list is not inconsiderable, considering where we were in first edition when
I mean,
HRD came.
Yes, I mean, I definitely agree, particularly because I think that second edition like a less flexible format right now. So like cards, like decks just don't like the tiers just don't change that drastically very fast. So like stuff gets discovered really slowly in this. I've noticed in this meta, but I think you are right about this. The predominance of rush makes HRD a lot worse than we thought it was. Just sort of in the vacuum when Danny, excuse me, announced that HRD was coming back, or HOD was coming back as HRD to be more precise. So like the fact that Lanny like crossing or Tyrell crossing or like even a Targ crossing that can go fast is there really hurts HRD. That's where the setup thing is really felt. If like there wasn't as much rush, if we were in a situation where like rush either in the form of combo or traditional rush as we think about it wasn't as powerful, like if it's a mid-range meta or a control meta, then HRD would be very powerful and very strong and would move a lot of HRD like in a mid-range meta, like HRD Starfall is like an NPE OP restrict, oh my god, why are my amazing characters not doing anything kind of deck. But the fact that that's not where the meta is right now, and that Rush and Bitterbridge are just don't care about those decks or can overwhelm those decks' control. Just
And I think it's somewhat your point combined with what Buzz said, that the card pool isn't ready for it yet. Like when you look at some of the HOD decks we had in first edition, they had tricks to control that rush. They had mitigation, and we don't have that mitigation at all. So there's nothing to stop a crossing deck from just running you over.
When Lord of the Crossing rotates, HRD is going to get a lot better.
Yeah.
Maybe, but either way, for the moment, it has underperformed.
One more thing, I think the hype, because there was a lot of hype for even before it was announced for HRD. I think a lot of the hype was for, oh shit, now we're gonna look at 3 cost locations differently, and I wonder what 3 cost locations we're gonna get in the future. Stuff like that. More than, I'm gonna build HRD Naga Strips and it's gonna be tier 1.
Well, every 300 cost location is an agenda now. So that's still, it's still a constraint for design. It's still potential excitement. Like when Dragonstone was spoiled, maybe Dragonstone's not tier 1, but it's still another option for a house that is lacking options.
Yeah,
sure. It's disappointed. Like I don't think it's bad. It's not a bad agenda. Sure. It's just disappointed. It's underperformed what we all hoped.
You know what I think is funny?
Wait, hang on. One more thing. I also think that there are definitely not enough. They're definitely like it needs to protect against more, either events or attachments or something else, so that like 15 things don't hit it. It's just hit by straight up too much.
Sure.
Yeah, that's definitely been the case.
Could you like froze in first edition on the HOD? No, right?
Yeah, only plots. Only plots.
Yeah.
It's funny to me how the cycles have played out to where some things we're not learning lessons and we're not protecting from like trigger limits or things like that, and then other things we're going too far the other way and saying, oh well, in first edition this had too much protection, we have to scale that way back, and it's causing kind of a lot of friction in the playtesting process and clearly in the release process. Like,
I mean, Rally Cry was printed specifically to deal with HOD, right?
Yeah, and it was never really used for that. Like that was.
It was not that good.
Yeah, it was used to buy some HRD decks.
It was very good in HOD decks because you had lower cards in.
Yeah. It 451 though. That was where the money was. First edition 451, breaking and entering.
Search and detain.
Search and detain.
Yeah.
Search and detain.
It was restricted.
Very specific. Such an easy answer to HRD.
No, it was restricted well before that. That shit was restricted like forever. It was restricted just because it was an easy answer to everything.
Right.
Hey, I know another card that's like that. No.
I want to make one point
in chat
about overpowered cards. Do you remember when we were all talking about how overpowered Flea Bottom was?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, why has no one built HOD Flea Bottom?
This is 1 gold.
So, I mean, if you think it's that game breaking,
Brett
does. You want it.
Louise kills it.
Because
no, but we had the option way before
it's
Breaking
an
Dice was
setup
released.
Ball.
Yeah, it's a 1 gold on setup. There's no reason to
take the setup
lower your setup hit is so bad that
and also building
you want to spend as much as you
second
can.
edition, right?
Right. So this is my point is that it's clearly not that powerful if you can't give up that much just to start with it.
No, I don't
No,
think that's the
every-
case. I think it has everything to do with the
Just
cost, right? And it's a
he's troll-
challenges
he-
action,
He's
Sandy.
trolling you. Just move on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so well, we
Hey, Chris, Celtics won by 13.
Wow.
all right.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Boston. So segment
Congratulations.
talk about
Basketball? You want to talk
yes,
about
basketball.
basketball?
I want to talk about basketball.
Oh,
Oh wait, I didn't do my overperform.
Do you overperform?
No, I
his
didn't.
underperform was HRD. His
Then we
overperform
talked
is
about
not.
that.
Oh, what's your
my
overperform?
overperform? He just wants to cut me out of the segment, huh? The overperform is the Faith Militant. I think that the shit has existed for like 3 weeks, a month, and we already have at least one serious T1 build with it that totally revived the house. Speaks very well of that design, and like it's so good already gives me a lot of hope for the future of this kind of type of deck.
Probably
I
not going to
predicted
get a
that.
lot more than one T1 though because of the
Like,
trait restrictions.
I mean,
Like,
I didn't expect one. So
Okay, I expected one right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Stark
right,
was
I
in the
was-
spoiler article.
you were right. I was wrong. Like I thought it would be good. I didn't think it would be real T1. And like I would not be surprised if Barra Faith Militant ends up a real thing
That's
either.
the other one. I think that is reasonable.
Not
I think-
there yet. I think it can be there.
I think
Let's not. Oh,
you had
Barrow,
Bastard
Faith
Night Song
Milton
at
with-
5th.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
same ability. That's kind of ability when you steal power. Look at that by Sword or by Gal in Targ in
Ugh.
first edition. The
Why are we
act of
talking about all the broken first edition cards today?
the act of
that one was so
stealing-
weird because it kind of came out of nowhere. Like it was such an unassuming card, and you're like, "Oh, this does the thing," and then it was just in every target deck times 3 and stealing
Yeah.
power left and right.
Yeah,
'Cause
stealing
free
power is
is so
super
good.
powerful. Yeah, but I mean, stealing one power is super good. Even if you have a ton of restrictions,
Red
suddenly, Red Wings Fate. Oh my god, fuck you.
Oh, what was
whatever.
wait, that Stark Champ card?
Oh, the old guy,
Yeah.
what's-
I can't
Northern
remember.
Patriarch.
Northern
Northern
Patriarch.
Patriarch. Where
Oh,
if you
that
want to
thing
play an
is so
event, you have to
stupid.
give it a power or whatever. Oh my god.
So
It's a champ
Buzz
card, so
is,
get
Buzz
ready to
is
see
exactly correct, and I also think it's because a lot of character hate that keeps characters in play doesn't take their traits away. So like the fact that like trait removal is like really rare, but in first edition it was relatively common. So these kind of like there were clear answers to like trait based synergies. Nightmares hit traits, for example, first edition. There was a card that returned characters that if there was after someone played a character with a trait, you could return another
What
character
was
with
that?
a trait.
I like that card.
House Divided. That was
House
really
Divided
House
powerful.
Divided was
So there's,
I love that card.
there's just like, and you had Old
We
Nan.
need that.
Talked about.
So
Wama brought that up in his recent
Hey,
show.
if anyone in the chat is a playtester, can y'all email Danny that we need a House Divided? I want a House Divided back. That would be so
a friend
good.
of mine were talking about a month
Hey.
ago and suggested that I just offer a straight reprint of that as my champ card.
Yeah, like why do you even need a playtester? You have
Oh,
have-
yo, champ of our heart, give us a House Divided. I don't even care
The
what
card
house.
was
Not Terrell.
The problem is that maybe like
No.
Lord has become too ubiquitous to where it's like
But like, you know what? Fuck you. You
It
should have
returns
to
the hand.
worry
It
about
doesn't
things.
get discarded
Returns the
to
hand,
die.
man.
No, it doesn't return to hand. It goes to the top of the
top
draw
of the
deck.
deck.
That's even better.
It's
Look,
Yeah.
it can
yeah,
return to
Black
hand
draw
in
step.
I mean, as a
return to hand
Lannister
second
loyalist in first edition, that was my favorite.
It could be a Lanny card. Like it's
Lanny
thematically
yeah.
a Lannister card in second edition, even more than it was in a first edition.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
all of their stuff is returned to hand, or kill. So
Oh, it's so
um,
good. I
all right,
want-
so
I
we're
want-
actually done with this segment, and we can transition to bestow.
Really?
All right,
We're doing
so
bestow, not faction ranks. I thought faction ranks.
no, I'd rather talk about bestow. Faction ranks can go. We can kind of like that out real quick. if
All
we
right, so
need
we're doing that last. Got it.
Set out.
I made that list. We're doing it. All right, ready?
All right, so bestow is the big of this cycle because the cycles of cycles. This block, I guess, if we're gonna steal the Magic term, which is the third and fourth cycle. Like bestow is
We're
the
not allowed
key
to play Magic
mechanic.
anymore.
The key mechanic of this block, and the question I have for you all is: was it successful? If it was successful, where was it successful? what design space did Danny not explore that probably could have been? I have a couple ideas about that. But what do we think of Bestow overall?
Bestow costs are generally too high or characters are overcosted. Not always, but usually. The best Bestow cards very often have a second way to get gold on characters. I think that's a really important thing that more should have been done with, and you should have been able to bestow on setup.
Yeah. I think I agree with all
All right.
that.
We're done with the bestow segment.
Basically.
I think so
Um,
because
Everyone just fucking agreed with me.
no, I
Didn't
mean I
like
do agree with you,
Bizarro
but
Day?
I actually think the design space that Danny I wish there had been more flat bestow things, which is like Astapor, and where it becomes something static versus like bestow as an extra cost. Like I don't particularly. I mean, I think Begging Brother's a cool card, but just like a lot of it like removing things, but instead of like thinking about the ways in which the scale of the cost can creates a kind of interesting play, right? So you have like a 2-drop that that's just a basic 2-drop, but then you pay a bestow cost of 4, and it becomes a 6-drop worth of value, right? So it means that early on, or to fill a cost slot, like I wish there had been a little bit more of that kind of stuff, not in locations, but in characters in particular. Like I
So,
think
like,
that
more
was
like-
sort of Garland,
More like Silence's Crew.
or Ricasso.
Silence's Crew or things like that, right?
Sounds so true. It's
Or-
such an underrated card.
It's a
Yeah,
yeah, well, it's
is
somebody's
it?
underrated card. It was pretty solidly rated, if I
I
remember.
don't think Silence's Crew was in this cycle.
It was.
I thought it was in the
It
last
was in the
one.
I
previous.
believe it was
No,
the
it's not
first
previous
pack of
one.
this cycle.
Yeah.
No, it was
It's-
in Red Wedding.
Oh, right. It's just I have all the bestow cards from both cycles because
Right. Okay, it was in
Good
the last
call.
cycles. There we go. That's why we didn't mention it.
specifically asked Roy if I should include both cycles, and he said yes. So,
Because it's
this
all
is both
bestow.
cycles.
As I'm going through this list, here's another overrated card. It's not a character though; it's a location. Anyone have any guesses?
Ashmark.
I said this card was.
I didn't like Ashmark
Nobody
either.
listened to me.
Never liked Ashmark.
I liked it.
I've tried
I'm
to
sorry.
solve it.
I
I'm successful,
overrated
but I'm gonna
Iron
do it.
Bank.
I mean, you were building a ton of decks about Iron Bank for a while. They were doing pretty well, but just kind of fell flat.
They're
after a
still
while.
really good. No, people started playing more location hate, and that was the end of that, right? Like you can't afford to lose that tempo. So that was the end of it. Like when location hate wasn't prevalent, it came in second at that Boston tournament, right?
I just think that I don't find, I guess you could say, like the way in which bestow costs were used as like an alternative source of like alternative resources to be overly interesting after a while. Like I think the best design of those cards is Begging Brother, but I think like a lot of the other stuff, like particularly that you could restock and refill, like I ended up being just like from a design and from like a play point kind of bored with and didn't find very interesting. I wish there had been like really way more thought about like when you play a character and getting value of
Right.
them, like seeing a card early
So
and
I
seeing
think-
like cards that are good on setup. Like, do I want to set this up or do I want to hold it and
Bestow.
get value? Yeah,
You
Yeah,
basically
bestow.
always
So-
want to hold it, right, with bestow cards.
Yes.
But I think
not always.
I think Greyjoy has the best bestow design overall. Like I think all 4 cards are really interesting.
I was actually going to say I don't necessarily disagree, but I think that there's some strong competitors. I do agree that Greyjoy is one of the best. I think actually, I think that Tyrell and and Targ also give it a run for its money in terms of well-designed cards. Horn Hill I like a lot. Garland I like a lot. Old Town Informer I think everyone can agree is great.
It's great,
never-
but is it a good design?
Right.
I mean, it's an example of the static
Old
effect
Town
I
Informer
was
is
talking about.
a particularly bad design.
I mean, the
Why?
question is it a bad design or is it flea bottom a problem? Is it like
no, without Flea Bottom, it's still a bad design. Like
is it?
if Martel had that card, I'd be playing it. If Targ had that card, I'd be playing it.
It's
If
just a good
Stark
card.
had-
You're just upset it's in Tyrell.
Yes.
Yes. In
Right.
fact, like if Lannister had that card, I'd be playing. Like I think giving Terrell that level of draw is a severe mistake.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not pure draw; it's filter. But yeah,
It's
your point is
filter,
taken.
yes.
It's,
point
is
it's
good,
a,
but I
it's a
think that-
Targ design with the
Yeah.
filtering and the scarring and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I
wasn't
mean,
that a core set?
And it's weird to me that there's like, oh, the drawing. Or the
drawing
filtering.
discarding. I can't remember who saw it first. I don't think
It
it was
wasn't.
Targ.
It wasn't Terrell. Terrell wasn't discarding anything.
Yeah,
Was
they
it
were
Lannister
drawing.
then? Was it Lannister? It was one of the factions early on had draw and discarded. It wasn't Targ.
I don't know anyone who had drawn discard off the top of my head.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tana
Maybe
and the
Lannister.
land box.
Oh, Taina, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's more of a Lannister design than a Tyrell design.
Yeah, look, I'm fine with it literally anywhere else except probably Martell. Martell really shouldn't have it
It
either.
should have been in Lannister, to be completely honest, because Lannister just doesn't get as much out of Flea Bottom. It has to use traditional ambush, and probably would have been less consistent. Although I can already see Jesse, if he's still in chat, just got really hard thinking about a Clansman deck with this amount of filtering.
I don't really want to talk about a Clansman. Thanks. Like, I don't like any of the design on the Terrell Bestow cards. Like, I think Hornhill is. I think Hornhill working on one character is perfectly fine. I think it working on.
I mean, I
every
could have
character
seen like
is just
2,
dumb.
but every character is insane.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just unnecessary.
Okay, so
And
the real problem is
Garland's way over curve. Like a 4-cost renown that just pumps everyone up is stupid. No one else has
Not
anything
everybody.
like
He doesn't
that.
pump everybody.
so
He
bad
can pump
design is what Aaron uses when the cards are just too good.
Yeah, I think cards that are too good, cards that could be toned down and still be played, like that could be taken an entire step down and still be really good and still be played, are bad design.
But I mean, you only see 2 of those 4 cards ever in play. I don't think I've ever seen Brightwater Knight. Well, I may have seen Hornhill once.
No,
or
Brightwater
twice.
Knight's garbage, but I've seen the other 3
I
plenty.
think Brightwater Knight is super garbage. Like,
I don't know that I'd
Brightwater
say-
Knight is trash.
Oh,
It's just
plenty.
it's a bad design just because it's trash and unplayable.
So I would
Right,
like
but
to
the others
nominate
are all
for worst bestow cards though. It's definitely Night's Watch, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Night's Watch got
Oh, yeah.
trash.
It's very bad.
It's
Hold on. Night's Watch. Hold on. The one that actually it was in this cycle, right? The Builder. That in
Young
this cycle or
Builder?
last cycle?
Young
Builder?
Builder.
Young
And
Builder
number
is
one up.
medium.
Look at it. Oh no, yeah, Stark has House of Black and White and Sansa's Maid and Barrelin Host
Yeah.
is terrible.
So
So yeah,
but anyway,
no, it's Night's Watch.
my point about
Hearthstone
the Young
discard.
Builder is actually pretty good. One of my teammates at Thrones War was running a Night's Watch Summer that used this Nitro Summer builders that used him, and I was very skeptical while we were testing. But he ended up having really good success. Just that additional draw in a deck that's already playing is really
Was
good.
that Ryan?
No, it was Ryan. Yeah, it was Ryan.
Speaking of draw, hey Buzz, what happened to Fever Dreams?
It's a good card.
Oh,
It's a good card.
Sure it
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
I think the best part of this, like going back over old cards this cycle, is like all of the enthusiasm that we once had just shot to dust.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's the
I
nature of
will
the
say-
thing.
I will still claim Fever Dreams is good. Lannister is trash except for crossing. That's it.
I don't
I'm
think Fever
still-
Dreams is good. Barra got a
still
lot of
sad.
good bestow cards too. Remember when Stannis' Cavalry was good for that 2 weeks?
It was good
Yeah.
into the Gen Con meta.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one built a King's Blood deck. Like I thought Alex Black or one of those other.
I assumed it was going to be
Yeah.
broken.
It's a melee card. Like somebody's gonna play it in melee, and it's gonna get real obnoxious.
Which one?
King's Blood, the one that discards power off every opponent.
Repower off every opponent is huge.
Power.
That
least
sounds really nice. What's that?
It's a Barra attachment. I loved it. You hated it. We had a whole fight about
Oh,
it.
that one. No, it's trash in melee.
is?
I think
Yeah.
I think my biggest problem with Bestow kind of echoes what Roy was saying, which is the number of Bestow cards where it was just obviously correct to bestow the max if you possibly could, and then scale down from there. Like if I have 4
Yeah.
gold, I'm putting it all in Astapor. Okay, I only have 3. Well, now I have to think about. I guess I have to think about whether I want it at -3 or not. But it's always correct to put more rather than less. Like there wasn't the tension that Roy was talking about with the
Completely
scalability
agree.
with it.
Right.
That said, I think there's a few like pretty interesting, like Ricasso is some cool design space with it.
All of them are tough, but Ricasso's founding all the broken shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
So
The
go
other
ahead.
thing that I had a problem with was the way that all of the Targ ones essentially cheated with Flea Bottom, like between Second Son, Stormcrows, and Eerie. Like none of them, you don't bestow them, or you bestow them with Flea Bottom, and they don't have a field gold cost either. So
No, I bestow Eerie all the time. I don't know
Eerie?
what you're talking about. Yeah.
you don't just Flea Bottom her in, bestow one, and then do it again later. That's weird.
Well, I like to get it that turn too. Like I mean,
you can also
you want to get as much out of her as
bestow
possible.
her, march her,
Yeah.
then redo it. Like I've seen that. I mean,
So-
there's a lot of bullshit with Eerie.
So
She's a
what?
cool
hang
card.
on. Second Sons does not count as a bestow card, despite it being a bestow
Right.
card.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Oh,
I've
no,
never
no,
seen
I
it like
bestowed.
maybe twice.
late,
I think,
late,
I think
late
I've bestowed
game
it a
when you're
couple
just
times.
like, all right, I just need the body on the board.
Yeah.
Or early
so-
game if you need body on the board and you're waiting
so-
for free bottom.
What is your favorite, everyone? What is your favorite bestow design?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna come to. My favorite design is, and it was the first time I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at the bestow cards. Oh, I like this design. I wonder what I can do with this. And it's Cersei's Informer. Sadly, Lannister's bestow stuff isn't very exciting, but this is the kind of design I really like.
Mine definitely is case merchant. No, I can't even say it with a straight face. I like Seized by the Guard a lot, to be honest. I think it's a pretty cool play on Frozen Solid, but that has kind of a drawback to it. So,
Roy?
Mine is Garland. I think Garland.
Shocking.
I actually think Garland is actually one of those cards that does have that tension that I was talking about, where like oftentimes like it's legitimately like thinking about like how much gold do I want to put on him, because he's sitting at 4 gold, which is already a big investment. And
Does-
do you want to
does
cheat him in
anyone else-
play? And there's like I have found,
No.
at least maybe because I'm bad at the game. Again, I will always admit that I'm terrible, but I've actually found there to be a lot of interesting tension about how much gold you put on him, just because he's like, because you want to kill him quickly to put him up with Marge and just all kinds of stuff. So I've actually found him to be the most interesting Tyrell bestow card, and I've been playing the most Tyrell this year. So
I lost my thought. Go ahead. Who?
No, for,
Sandy?
about Garland, for me it's like,
Oh, that was.
am I gonna
Good.
play another character? No. Okay, I dump all the gold I
Yeah.
can on Garland. Yay.
Also, is there another house that has unconditional 4-cost renown?
What? Well, let me check.
Like that, like because what's his name?
Targ does. Doesn't one of the Bread Riders 4 cost and has renown? Or
No.
am I?
The
No,
four-
no,
No,
Jogo has
definitely.
stealth if he has a
Oh,
blood.
Stark. Daisy. Daisy
Daisy,
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I feel like Terrell gets all the good stuff. All right, whatever.
They do. And
I
Danny
mean,
clearly likes Tyrell. Like
Renown
he's the
is on
Lannister
every
of
single.
Precision.
Yeah, it's
Hold on,
so
let me
much
check.
right now, right? The list.
Well,
I know what mine is.
I'm
I
just
know what I
checking.
want mine to be. It is. What's your favorite bestow card, Sandy?
I have
Scotty's.
2 that are kind of similar in mechanics. One is House of Black and White, and
Oh,
the
good.
other
That saves me.
is Yinkai. Like I like the tension between
Love you.
you put. Well, I mean, it's kind of garbage, but like the
Bad,
mechanic,
but I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, the mechanic of you put X gold on it, and then you spend some of that gold to do an effect, and then you get more gold. Is kind of nice. Like it evens out. You don't have you don't have to invest in it super heavily at the beginning.
I like House of Black and White a lot more if Trade Routes doesn't exist.
Why?
Like, just dump 20 gold on it sometimes, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna kill something every turn.
Oh, you're saying that removes the
Yeah, the tension. Like, I'll
Yeah.
just like, all right, I killed a 1-coster. I'm gonna put 20 on this now. Thanks. It's only bestow 10 when you first play, and you can bestow up to whatever the hell you want when you're putting gold back on it.
Right. There is interesting like play with that one where you like go back and forth, where you like sometimes kill one of your own shitters just
Yeah.
to be able to put gold back on it and stuff.
Mhm.
I like.
I mean,
all
that one has
about
the
Trade Routes.
most. That one has
trick.
most like back and forth on the amount of gold that it has, which is pretty interesting.
I'm sure there's a deck around Big Cersei, a bunch of like stupid star cards, and using that 2-cost event to sacrifice to kill, or like sacrifice to sacrifice another card, and then
That's
return
loyal.
it
You're
to
talking
hand.
about the North members? It's
Yeah.
loyal, so you
So-
can't run Cersei and
No,
and
no,
that
no,
card
House
together.
of Black and White.
Uh,
And
oh.
Big Cat.
Oh, Big Cat. Oh, I heard Cersei for some reason.
He
So now
said
you-
He said Cersei.
Okay.
Oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was actually thinking if there's only a way to kill your own characters in Stark, but there is House of Black and White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can House of Black and White your own dudes and,
There you
and
go.
get that cat trigger.
Problem
So
is they don't have good chud, right? Like Stark's chud kind
Yeah.
of sucks.
Cat's problem is she's also twice per round. It's actually not hard to get the 2 power, at this point with it,
Very
but it's
easy.
just two per round, unlike Mace.
As opposed
which
to
is
Mace,
once
who's
per phase.
50. And then it's like, oh, I lost. I think my favorite is Orphan of the Greenblood. I really like. I don't run it in much of anything anymore. I think there's still one straggler in the wolf that I should probably just cut. But like, I really love the design of Orphan of the Greenblood.
So I did a quick
Super-
search, by the way,
There,
for 4 cost or lower characters with unconditional renown, and the list of, I mean, this doesn't really help Aaron's case. There's the Knight of Flowers. There's a 4 cost Knight of Flowers that also has renown. There's Jorah Mormont.
Yeah, but he's not unconditional, right? Like, if you use his renown 3 times, he's done.
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
that's
Unless you
the
transfer his
renown
force
is-
reaction.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
he wins 2 challenges and the power doesn't go away.
Yeah, but then he has to just stand there. He
But,
can't.
okay, so the point is, it's less than
Fair.
4 costs with renown, but
Fair,
it's got
fair.
downside.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what.
So
yeah.
so far, the 2 characters that don't have a downside are Knight of Flowers and Garland.
Yeah.
There's Quentin Martell.
Oh,
Has
downside.
downside. Yeah.
AC.
And
AC
oh,
Mormont,
Stacy. Yeah.
who has a
And
downside.
Does not have a downs. Oh my god.
Yes, she does.
He has a
What?
huge
Some-
downside.
Her downside is she can sometimes be none strength.
No, she can always be
No,
one.
she always be
Unless she
one,
gets-
right?
But if you blank
Is
her,
it
she's
other
done.
Stark characters or is it just Stark
No,
characters?
no, it's Stark
number
characters.
of-
she's great on a Blood of the Dragon turn. You can clear their board super easily.
Yeah,
Um,
she's real funny.
And the other
Like,
one, my
Venomous
favorite,
Blade exists.
Pickle Bannerman, 3 cost unconditional renown.
With a downside. Yeah. So it's basically 2 troll cards that don't have a downside.
Oh,
I really think
and
Casey's
Blackwalder.
Oh, and Black
Oh,
Walder.
Blackwalder.
Black Walder needs to see me play. Oh no, is he not conditional?
He's conditional.
Oh, no, you're
in the-
right. You're right.
only
It's
during
only
the
the
third
first
challenge.
have
the third
a-
challenge.
Yeah.
Third challenge if he has gold on him.
No, he always has
No.
renown. It's the strength, right?
Yeah, he gets
No,
plus
plus
2
2
strength
strength and
for each
renown.
Gold, and
For
he
each
always
gold
gets
member.
renown. He always gets renown,
okay.
right? Because the way the
Yeah.
English is, right? Gains renown and plus
The
2
way the
strength for
Thrones
each gold,
English
right?
is.
No,
Definitely not
the way
that
English
no.
is.
Well,
No, like that's not the way it's phrased. Because the plus 2 strength he gains for each gold he gains plus 2 strength and renown. There's no reason
that's
that
not-
modifier
The way it's phrased is during the 3rd challenge, you initiate each phase. Blackwalder gains renown and gets plus 2 strength for each gold he has. So gains renown.
and plus
happens
2 strength
to-
for each. Yes, yeah, I guess the modifier would.
If
Look,
it was the
it
other
can't-
way, I
that-
agree.
yeah.
If it is the
Okay,
other way.
I thought it was the other way.
Yeah.
Right.
I found one, by the way, Sir Dennis
So-
Mallister, because
Is he
when it's
unconditional?
well,
When
Yeah.
defending,
When
Night's Watch is
defending,
never
yeah.
attacking, so
I mean, that's
Well,
like.
obsidian arrows would have you think otherwise.
Does he have no attachments, or is he just?
no, he doesn't.
So Orphan is really good.
But that's also, I mean, it's really
So-
good. But is it good design though? I mean, I like the design of bouncing characters.
Yes,
but
yes,
is it good
actually.
bestow? No, it's
So
not.
I
good
think
bestow
no. So the
design.
reason I like it as bestow is that can't like if you want this effect in the game, there has to be a separate cost. And like Neil Orphan is not a fair cost for that. Like it's too strong if it's Neil. Like
Right.
limiting the amount of times you can do it without playing another version, I think is really important for this card. Like I think it's really important for Begging Brothers, and I'm fine with that design for
Okay.
bestow.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean,
Like,
that's
the plus 2
good
strength
design
doesn't-
for the
Yeah.
card, but not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
So one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about like where bestow could have gone, would it have been better if for bestow if the locations, the 2-drop locations in the previous cycle reduced the cost of the next Martell, Targaryen, whatever character versus giving you gold?
No.
Would that be? I just think that I don't know. I was thinking whether or not that would have been a better design space to explore versus giving you
I just
giving
want,
you the gold.
want non-limited economy already.
Yeah.
Like I need to be able to
I
run.
want my
12
narrow
economy cards.
seas.
Like
I
I
want
want
my
12
narrow
economy
seas.
No
cards in
narrow
a
seas.
deck. Like 12 economy cards should be the norm in a deck. Mathematically, like whatever. Let's move on. You're gonna make me sad.
I want balanced economy because the economy is so. Oh,
Yeah, that would be nice too.
You know
I
what?
mean, I've won quite a few games from bouncing Gates of the Moon with Luis.
Oh yeah.
Like it's real nice. Where I'm like, I'm going first on this turn, and they're like, "You're Martello. Why are you?" Oh.
When they know immediately what you're gonna do as soon as you flip like and ties and say I'm going first. Like,
I mean, like,
unless you're gonna
like,
do it
there's-
in the pot phase. And
no, I mean,
which you
sure,
won't.
but I won't.
But-
I want to get the gold. Like, it's the same amount of gold as my one Dornish fiefdom, so I can just go first and then do it.
Yeah. The better scenario is you flip Breaking Ties, they flip 8+, and they like, you go first. And then you flip the Gates of the Moon after you receive the gold. Yeah.
I like doing it on counting turns, especially. It's like a 4 gold. Oh,
Right.
like I've done it to more than one economy right before they can marshal. It's real good. Real good. You just hit 2 economy cards, and they're like, I have to wait 2 turns to have this economy again, and now I'm sad. It's like, yeah, well,
I would have, if we're
Yeah.
talking about what we would have liked to see, I actually would have liked to see, similar to what you're saying, Aaron, economy cards that specifically, and actually just in general, more support cards for Bestow. I think the plot and is it just the plot in the event? Was there
Yep.
anything else?
That's it.
So I would have liked to see like a location that is +1 gold, and then in addition, if you play a Bestow character, like similar to Great Hall, where it's not necessarily only for big characters, but it helps
Yeah.
more. For big
It could
characters.
be like +1 gold or something else or whatever, and Neil to put 1 gold from the treasury on a Bestow card.
What if it was like
Done.
a 2-drop limited location +1 gold? Whenever you play a character with Bestow, place 1 additional gold on that card.
I think that's what he was saying. That'd be sweet.
No, but I mean like not Neil, just like every time you play a Bestow card.
Right.
Yeah,
He
I
gets
mean,
that +1.
you could, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting space. I mean, the thing is, the way Danny, when they had made that announcement about this block system they're going to use, we probably will not see Bestow again unless Danny makes a self-conscious
Very
decision to
sad.
return to it. So it's kind of, I think, good for us to talk about it overall.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I'm disappointed, because I thought the fact that they know that all of the stuff with Bestow is rotating out at the same time or similar times, that they could actually go all in and print cards that really play off of the effect.
But they didn't.
Rather than kind of
Here's where I think that the reason they didn't do that with Bestow, 1, it was Danny's first like keyword that he created on his own. 2, I think the way rotation works, the fact that like these cards are going to be around abnormally long. So because it takes so long before we get rotation, and then this is not part of the first cycle that rotates, it's the second. Like being super risky with a design is asking for these cards to be around for longer. But like maybe Shadows or whatever comes up with after Shadows, they can play more intensely, because once rotation starts, these cards are going to start going about once a year. So you only get about 2 years of standard, or whatever they're going to end up calling it, that these cards are legal, versus this pack, which is going to have like 3 or 4 years that it's going to be legal. I mean, the only other cards that are that long are going to be the first 2 cycles. So I think that that's probably why, if we're like thinking big picture, this game survives into the future, which is always
The dice game coming soon to
is
the second he
it's a smart
announces.
decision, right? It's a 3rd edition, right?
So
When
do
they
we
get
have
bought by Hasbro and we're all suddenly talking about the stack.
Like no, legitimately, just wait for the last season of the game to come out, or the show to come out, where like they go, this is our last chance to really milk this, the dice game. Where we're going. So we got like a year.
We have one this Gen Con, basically.
This
is what
Gen
you're
Con, is
saying.
it? Yeah, yeah.
And then
I'm still
Gen Con.
hoping that Simone makes like several $1 million with this startup and buys the license after the last season of the show, and we just reboot Friends 3.0.
The
with
show's
Corey
never
designing all the cards.
No, what he needs to do, if he's really going to do it, is negotiate a deal with HBO and get the rights to the prequel shows that are going to be going on forever. Because FFG only has a license to the books; it doesn't have a license to the show. There's technically no card game except for when FFG made that deal to do that like one-off product of the show, right? So what you got to do is try to get somebody to hire a lawyer who can find the rights in there to get the rights to the show, and then boom, then you got it. You
I know
can
a lawyer.
slap Kit Harington's face on cards. You can slap half naked Danny on cards. It will sell. So there you go. That's how Steve Simone can make his second $1 billion. But all right, Aaron.
In the meantime.
Oh, hey,
have-
number one Second Sons fan, Trey Alsop is finally here. So we
Hey
can start
Trey,
the episode.
you're so late. Trey, come on, man.
We love you, Trey. So
This is for you, Trey.
I'm looking forward. I'm excited to see you at Kubla, Trey.
Trey was on our bad audio episode.
Is Trey
of
coming to
Second
Cuba?
Sons. The one that triggers Buzz.
So
You can hear the deep sigh in the background.
Yeah.
well, there's always next year, or Red Saturday.
You come to Red
So-
Saturday, Buzz?
Very likely.
Awesome.
That would be amazing.
Red
Oh,
Saturday is
my
going to be terrible.
Red Saturday is going to be lit, as they say. So
I
Um,
can't.
We're going to be
It's
dead
crazy.
from Stalik.
So much travel.
See you
Yeah, it's
there.
gonna be
See you
fun.
there.
Sandy,
And
we really do
specifically
need to get on
flying
the bigger
directly
location.
from
but-
Stalik to.
Yeah, me too. We
Alright,
should be on the
well.
same flight. We'll just drink on the flight.
Right, because I can book the same flight as you. Thinking, nope.
Wait, did you already book a flight?
No, I
No.
mean, I'm gonna look for the cheapest ass flight with the most layovers possible. Get the cheapest I can get.
Oh.
I like that. I like that. as a
Layovers
projection.
are
It
not
sounds
my
like you're saying
style.
the cheapest ass flight. It's adorable.
Sandy wants the shortest flight that he's most likely to get an upgrade on. That's what he wants.
Yes,
Right.
that is
I don't know. He
So-
told me the other day that he sometimes takes extra legs just for the mileage. So
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
not a thing on a transatlantic flight. Do you really take extra legs
No,
on
but-
transatlantic?
But I've flown like New York to Cincinnati, laying over in like Orlando or whatever, because you get extra miles.
Hey, Netflix exists, right? All right. So our last segment, because I do need to go to bed because it's my job to walk the dog in the morning because Alla has a big job interview, is the faction ratings. So where are we sitting, Aaron? You prepared all this stuff. What are the factions at the end of Cycle 4 going into the regional season?
All right, I think the worst faction right now, and I don't think they're terrible. I just think the other factions are better right now. Is Brathian.
It's pretty fair.
I think the three main Brathian builds are HRD, whether that be Castle or Keep. They're functionally the same build, just with a different location. Dragon, and I think there's a Faith Militant that just has to be tweaked.
What is this Barra Dragon build?
That's
John's
what Dark
build.
Knight ran. It's just aggro.
Oh,
Stay
that
in
one,
aggro.
yeah.
Aggro, get rid of your locations.
I thought there was a new one.
No.
No.
I just think that's
use
still
Dario, like
Yeah.
just super abuse
Yeah.
Dario.
Yeah, I still think that's a good deck.
No, it's
just-
fine deck.
It's just not T1.
It's T2, but it's a good T2 deck. So take it if you're interested in a mid range deck.
And anyone want to argue Barra should be higher?
Nope.
All right, cool. Number 7 right now is Night's Watch. I just don't think Builders is there, and that's their traditional T1 deck. I think Wolf is really good, but again, not quite there. And I'm pretty sure there's a Fealty build. I just don't know how it works yet. Like the Fealty aggro should be close, or maybe Reigns.
We're all going off of we have not solved Trixie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, once we solve Trixie, Night's Watch can shoot up. Trixie is literally why Night's Watch is above Brathian right now, right? Like Barra's better than Night's Watch if we don't count Trixie.
Can confirm
Night's Watch just doesn't-
Louise's card makes Builders bad.
Night's Watch doesn't have a win condition right now. Is the problem?
And Night's Watch aggro / mid range is
What
just inconsistent.
Fred says I am dead wrong about Wolf. That Wolf is extremely good.
But Night's Watch
Yeah,
Wolf?
I agree. I mean, Natural Wolf is super good,
Look, I
but
think it's
it
really
doesn't.
good. I just
It
think they're
doesn't have the
better deck.
range of other. I mean, Tyrell has like 15 good builds, right?
So the question.
And what do
this
you
is
like? Can that like Wolf build? Like my problem is like if you kill that Varus, they're in trouble, right? And
yes. The
the
other thing about it is
Targ is real good at making Varus not be a thing.
so the question is before Sam's card is if you want to play a Wolf style attrition deck, why would you just not play Martel Wolf? Right? Like what does Night's Watch give you that makes it a more consistent strategy? But with Sam's card, I think that calculus changes.
Right. But I actually think that the Night's Watch Wolf is really good against Martel, which you might choose as your I'm gonna go to win a tournament deck. And it's also, I'm not sure, but it should have a fairly good matchup against Targ.
Yeah,
It has a
I
very
think
good. I think it has a very good matchup. versus
Yeah,
Targ.
right. Okay.
I think Danny wrecks its face, and I think Terrell wrecks its face.
I mean, yeah, Tyrell is the big problem, right? But it has a
Right.
plus
I think
matchup against
Sam
two
helps with
really
Tyrell.
common.
That deck's always struggled a little bit too much with Targ for me. Because Targ has just a little bit too much no attachment stuff. They just have a little bit too much like I don't give a shit what you're doing to my stuff, and I'm just gonna burn you because all your guys are kind of cheap, except for that one little army.
Cold hands. Cold hands hurts, Danny.
Cold hands is really good. Cold hands is
Danny
really
and
That's
Mace.
why.
Yeah.
I actually I honestly think Martel might be the best matchup for them. Martel has the best chance of beating them
Oh no.
because
Right.
they can shut down the other.
Tyrell thinks they're cute and destroys them.
I mean, Martel or Tyrell can defeat Night's Watch Wolf. But
Tyrell does defeat Night's Watch.
well, but Cold Hands is an answer. Like there are answers in the wolf.
Look, any good deck has to answer Tyrell, right?
Except other Tyrell decks.
And
That's
so
a shit show of a mirror.
Fred says that Targ is an 80% matchup, which I guess for the Wolf.
Well, we'll find out. Thank you, Fred, for telling me that I should make playing Night's Watch Wolf at Kubla. So we'll see. There'll be plenty of Targ at Kubla, I would say. So we'll see what his win rate is there. I don't think it's that good either, but we'll see.
All right. Does anyone feel like Night's Watch should be higher? Because I'm assuming not.
No,
Unless once we break Trixie.
I
Right,
don't know
yeah.
that I think you have Greyjoy too high.
We'll get,
You don't.
dude.
We will
We're
get
on.
there.
We're
I
on
agree,
all
but we
of
will
number
get there.
7. Can chill. Lannister is number 6. That crossing rush is gross, but
Yeah.
that's the thing they have.
That's it.
I mean,
There's
As a
It's-
faction, they're very
yeah.
low.
Lannister
It's
could
just-
be top 3 easily, but they only have that one deck, right?
right. And that,
So
and that,
if-
one,
yeah.
that one deck is as good as anything, or nearly
Yeah.
as good as.
Right.
If you're ranking top decks, I think Lanny is in the top 4, definitely. And
No, I
maybe
don't
in
think
the
so.
3.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
Laney, Aaron
5,
just
6
doesn't have any.
deck.
Aaron consistently has not had faith in Frontier Crossing.
I thought everyone should have brought it to Stalik. I fought for Team America for every single person to bring it to
Not
Stalik.
every single person brought it, but I hear one person on
fought
this
for it.
cast brought it, and then another one.
Did all right.
We
Sorry.
were in the same group. I was like, guys, just bring the rush, bring the rush, bring the rush. I don't not have faith in it. I just think that I think if we're doing a top 10 decks in the game, 5 of them are Tyrell decks, and I think most of those are just better than Landing Crossing.
Well, I would argue the other 4 of them are Targ.
Okay.
So
They're not better. I mean, the thing is, the consistent answer to Tyrell is Lannister Crossing. Lanny Crossing beats Bitterbridge. It has a really good matchup. Again, the Summer it's a harder matchup, but it's still really good. If you want to target Tyrell right now, Lannister Crossing is the best way to do it. Besides, without twisting your deck in the way that you guys complained, I over-argued before with the Greyjoy, the double barring stuff. If you want to be I want to beat Tyrell, go into this.
So why
Crossing.
isn't Tyrell running Seized?
Seized.
Doesn't have room.
There's no room for that, right?
Got you're cutting even better cards than that, like Nightmares
Yeah.
from those
Yeah,
decks.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. All right, I bet you we could tweak it to beat that, but okay. Number 5 is Stark, because Stark has 2 T1 builds to Lanny's 1.
Woo-hoo.
The Faith Militant deck and the Crossing Rush.
Crossing Rush,
Is there-
huh?
is there no pure
Whatever the Ween
is there no-
Rush is.
Is there no Stark Reigns attrition anymore?
Sure, but 3 people in the world can play that apparently, and they all live in Wausau. So
Right,
I
you
don't-
also live in Wausau, Buzz. That's what we said.
yeah, Buzz can play it, but he's Wausau, right? That's the same thing as Sweden.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, like Alex Hines, for all his other many flaws, is really good, right? He's got a card designed not by accident, which is the only time I will ever say that. But he
Did he
can't
win any
figure it out.
tournaments to get it?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Not a single one.
Not even a little bit. 3rd place and 8th place, whatever. In the meantime, while he's really good, he plays that the Wolf deck and is I can't make this shit work. It's not easy. It's just a really tough to pilot deck.
Johnny Wright said the same thing, and I think the world of him as
Yeah.
a player. So
Yeah, I've played it with Johnny. Me and Johnny tried to figure it out for a while and was
Right,
no.
Which deck? I missed
like-
it.
Just
the
the
Reigns deck.
guilty.
The-
Reigns. Oh, the Sam deck.
The Sam decks.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
the
to-
Sam
yeah.
deck.
Not to hop on the Sam bandwagon, but I think it was really telling that Sam, King of Swiss, Thrones War, with everyone else on his team, not even
3 and
coming
4.
close.
3 and 4.
Like, yeah, having a losing record.
We had
That's
one.
a
He
We had
did
one.
not manage to do that on Team Night's Watch that he was added to at the last second of Jesse's event, though. So
because the
But
Midwest is a tougher
he didn't
meta.
count for your team wins anyway, right? Or the
no, he
next
didn't
one.
count for the team wins, though.
So,
All right.
we're cool with Stark. Does anyone have any other Stark builds they'd like to throw in or discuss?
Well, I really like Stark
There you
Kraken,
go.
but
I just don't think this is the right meta for it.
no, it's not. It's not. It was there for
like-
a while, but then I was
Mhm.
like, no, the decks aren't there. That
Yeah.
it crushes right now.
Yep, the meta
Stark
rotates
Watch
away
is
to and
is
from
dead,
things. Like
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it went
Stark
4 and
Watch
3, the other 4 and 3 at War though.
all
They're very different. Meta. All wall decks are dead.
yeah.
I want to point
Well,
out
Tip
that
Martell.
Stark. I'm not talking the Stark Kraken Rush thing that they made for
Yeah,
War.
yeah, yeah.
I'm talking my
Yeah, that-
style.
Yeah, the Hyper Sack.
Yes, Hypersack.
the Wama deck. The Wama first.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah, hates or whatever.
Right, number 4, I have Martell. I just don't think they have the variety of builds. I think Wolf is the only T1, although used plot is real close and someone's going to break it. And I think Starfall is probably T2 in their third best deck.
Yeah, I think it comes
I
down to
think-
what I said earlier, that they're just
Mm.
not explored enough. Like, there's so many cards in the Mortel box that are just objectively powerful that people haven't found a home for.
Yeah, it's not
I also
explored.
I love Rose. I just feel like Rose got knocked down a severe peg.
The issue is like the Rose is in most cases just a different version than Wolf. Wolf is probably
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, well, and
but-
left and right are gone, right? Like the meta does not like left and right anymore.
I don't know. Okay. But
Targ?
Too much Martell, too much Targ.
uh, I would put them at, but we'll get to that. I think
Fair.
you know
Yeah,
why I would put
I
it
would
there.
put it
I
at
think
3
I
as
think
well.
2, 3, and 4 can go in functionally any order. I'm going with ease of tech for each
So-
to beat the other. I think.
I really do think
I-
that the Martell box's problem is that it came out in the combo meta. Like I think there's a lot of like semi-broken or tier 1 or tier 2, tier 1 decks that are floating around. There's just space that people just can't explore in a combo meta, like where you just don't know if you're going to run into a bunch of combo, and because those decks lose to combo.
Yeah.
I play nothing but Martell. Like literally, I played like
I know.
almost nothing but Martell. And I've played every Martell build I find online. Every Martell build anyone sends me, I play the shit out of Martell. It's the big problems for Martell are Terrell is generally just a shit matchup. And Terrell is so good. Like that Terrell is generally just a shit matchup is the reason the Wolf matters so much. Because they're the only one who have any shot. Like, and the other problem is functionally King Plot and anything fast.
Yeah.
King Plot just like if you're running King Plot and barring, we can just go home. Let's go do something else. Just
Yeah,
like
that
just
sounds
like
about right.
that's it, right? Like those are gross, and there's literally nothing Martell can do to stop King Plot and barring. You just they have to just sit there and be sad. There's no other choice. Like,
You
I
can
don't
run
know.
a king.
Or Mance.
You
Yeah.
can run Mance. Sure,
No.
you can
No.
absolutely run Mance, but you can't. So if you want to still beat other decks and not just be terrible, there's nothing. So like, great. So that's 2 of the top 4 houses that are, and you know what also really really hurts Martell? You're on pillage luck.
Oh yeah.
So what about Martell
You don't
Reigns
you
that's
don't
running
think Rachel
Forgotten
Havoc
Plans
Lawrence,
in its
good
plot
pick?
deck?
How are you winning an intrigue by 5?
Just Martell has enough. You just honestly win it. Just turn all the green those cards sideways.
So you've blanked their plot in order to do what? Because now all your cards are sideways. Like,
then
are
you
you
start the ambush chain. Then
Yeah, no, this isn't a thing. That's a real thing.
This seems
It'd be
dumb.
nice if it was, but I agree that it's not.
Yeah, it's not a real thing. Like, and how much intrigue is Martell with their little weenies throwing at you in order to get past Euron and Asha if they don't want you to, when they can actually trigger effects like their strength pumps.
That's
Like, it's not a real thing.
Martell
Like,
likes small boards and turning. They want to make punish you for turning your cards sideways and want to turn as few cards as they can sideways.
Yeah, absolutely true.
So
And
Martell just simply can't run Forgotten Plans, even with Wars to Come and the 0000000.
I don't think so. Like, you just don't have the plot space, and it doesn't work out.
I mean,
Like-
mean that as
like,
a serious question.
I
If
mean-
it's such a problem, like
I mean,
not like
it's
it's
because you
LGB's
have
plot.
because you have to run Wars to Come at that point,
Yeah.
and then Terrell is still just gonna eat your face because it doesn't do anything to Terrell.
A big, I mean, Martell might be the most powerful faction in a vacuum.
Yeah.
But it relies so heavily on its plot deck. The plot deck is so important to the Martell player. To give up one spot for a 4-2-1, no.
If you delete King Plot, Barring, and Vance from the game, Martell is the best house.
Mace, you mean, in that case.
Ace, thank you.
Two, like three of the
Sandy,
best
stop
cards.
angrily typing.
3 of the best cards.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but those 3 cards are the cards that keep Martell down, and they're like Martell.
Yep.
Like, it's not that they keep Martell down; it's that there's no counterplay for Martell to them, really.
Barring's probably the least worst, right? I mean, it's bad, but it's certainly not as bad as King Plot, right?
It's not as bad as King Plot, and it's not as bad as Mance, depending on your build and what else you have lying around. But like, it's still like if you flip 2 Barring and you don't have King Plot, you've probably won. Like, there's just not a lot I can do without like it's not even like Flea Bottom. It's that I can't ambush, I can't Ariane, I can't Obara, and I'm just sitting there like. It's
A wise man
I
once
better
said,
have some
that-
events in hand.
Wise man once said that plot probably should have just been burning bridges.
Yeah, love.
Yeah.
King Plot should have 100% been burned. Like that King Rider is so ridiculously unfair to multiple houses. To Martell, but also
And Night's
often
Watch.
and Night's Watch, and very often to Lannister. Lannister,
Yeah,
it
Their
probably
kings
isn't
are garbage.
Their
True.
kings are garbage. They're probably not running their shit kings. And like, you want to shut down that rush deck? Play your King Plot, man. Like, what are they gonna do?
They run. I mean, someone will run one Tommen.
So great if they see their one Tommen to your
On
your
turn
2 events.
when they
and-
flip
yeah.
the king plot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's that. Like, they can't do any of their rushy bullshit, and you beat them. Have fun.
I think the problem is that King Plot is really good for some of the underplayed houses. Like, it's pretty good for Stark. It's pretty good for Barra. They
It's
have
not good
kings that
Stark
play.
or Stark doesn't
They
have a
run
king
kings.
play. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Stark runs. Okay,
The king
whatever.
attachment.
Stark runs a
attachment's good.
copy or 2 of the king attachment. That's not enough to run the plot.
Well, but I mean, you can. But Stark is
Stark
also
also
a faction
doesn't have-
that can just run the plot as burning bridges.
Honestly,
Right.
sure, but they're not where that plot is a problem. That plot is like, if that's where it was
But-
being played, I wouldn't care. It's that it's in
No, but
Tyrell.
that's if you let me finish, that's what I was going to say. The bleed effect is that Tyrell also has all of these advantages and none of the downside.
Like, it should just be burned. But
That's actually kind of the problem with Tyrell as a whole, is that it has all the positive effects of everything targeted for every other house and none of the downsides.
Well, the thing is, when your house theme is synergy and positive effects,
Draw and gold.
like, I hear that's good. I hear like doing good things for your board is just a good thing to do in card games.
So
And
there's no reason
so-
that Tyrell should have both gold and draw. Like, one of the two, like, because that was the problem with Lannister.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, Lannister can't be gold and draw, that'll break them again. And it's like, you know what? Someone else should just be gold and draw.
And
Still breaks
efficient
them.
characters. Like, and efficient renown. Like, don't forget that. Like,
it's not
they're-
also. So they are just 1.0 Lannister.
They're better than 1.0 Lannister ever was, or almost.
They don't have Neil. They don't have Neil. Let's not
They
forget
don't
about
need
that.
it. They
I
don't
There's
need
mean-
Buzz. There's
You gotta. It's a long stretch to say that it's better than Lanny ever was in 1.0, because Lanny, and I love Lanny first edition, but Lanny was dumb as fuck.
We're talking like core set, like
sometimes.
after 2 packs where they get like Pyro Cash and all the Neil cards in the world already.
and Casterly and
Yeah.
Alchemist Guildhall.
Castellan. It was Castellan that was
Castell on
stupid.
the Rock.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right, yeah. That
It
was one of all the Neil cards.
Guildhall was ridiculous.
Because
I
pre-reprint,
want-
pre-reprint, he wasn't a limited response, right?
Yeah, he was not limited response.
Neither was Alchemist Guildhall originally, too, right? So you could bring your Alchemist Guildhall out of shadows, kneel someone, and then
Double
trigger your
Yep.
yeah.
Good
That's
times.
obnoxious.
If the title of this YouTube episode is not 1.0, was stupidly broken.
So
I don't know.
I really want Shadows Tyrion second edition. I'm
Ooh,
just waiting
me
and
too.
hoping.
Me too.
Shadows Tyrion was so fun.
What was
He was
it?
a fun
When a
card.
card comes out
I
of
mean-
When it comes to the
Shadows,
Shadows, he gets a
+2
keyword.
Delphi,
It's plus two
plus
strength,
two
one of like 3 keywords, or like immune to events.
And no, there's no attachments, stealth, renown.
And
I thought it
immune
was Deadly
And-
Stealth Renown.
It is deadly stealth.
No,
Renown.
he was
Immune to
No
event.
attachments.
Oh, he was
also
massive.
no-
always he was always stealth. So it was
Oh,
Deadly
he's always
Renown, immune
no
to events.
attachments.
Yeah.
He got no attachments too.
And
Right?
no
So,
attachment. Yeah.
No attachments
was-
seems kind of a waste, but cool.
That's
Um,
actually
It's better in second edition where negative
If
if I
attachments are
can
way better.
if I can do a callback, that's actually an interesting mechanic they didn't explore with Bestow. Is if this character has 1 or more gold, if they have 2 or more gold, if they have 3 or more gold, they gain successively better abilities.
Like
Yeah.
these
Isn't that
Chinese
specifically what I said
champion
that they should?
Yeah, Roy
they should
said
have?
that.
Okay,
Oh,
I missed
did you?
that. I missed
For
that.
playing
Sorry,
WoW.
I missed
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't clear that that's what you meant, but
I meant
agree
that
with it.
and other things. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
No,
so,
but I mean, I talked about scaling and fixed
yeah,
whatever.
Right,
Oh.
right. Don't repeat it. People listen to the episode.
No, you used Garland as your example. That's why I was
No, I
confused.
Was it before that, but that's okay. Anyway, what's the next 3
I
factions?
can't believe I'm the one who listened to you. What is happening? I think I have Targ 3. I think Targ is probably 2, maybe even 1 if we figure out the right build. I haven't seen it.
I would agree.
Like, I
It
think
feels
that
low to me, but I could be wrong.
Targ has a lot of dummy-proof decks that are really good, but they also just can be answered by the top 2. And
Mhm.
like, hey, a lot of Martell builds are pretty good against Targ.
I think it's 1 step above. I think it's 2. I think Greyjoy is
Yeah.
where
I think Greyjoy is
Yeah.
4 unequivocally.
I do too. I think it's.
I
I think
think Greyjoy Rose and Greyjoy Wars are both way better than you guys are giving credit.
We don't definitely know that yet, though, right?
Are we? Are we talking?
Oh,
Are those honest decks or are those drowned guys?
No, honest decks. I'm talking specifically of honest decks that like are out there. Like people have posted them, people have played them at tournaments and done really well. Like the Greyjoy Rose and the stupid Greyjoy Wars to Come that are both just like they're basically no fun decks. They're functionally saying
Mid-range.
yeah, like they're super hardcore. Just you can't do what you want. They run 2 barring and a king plot, and it's just like, all right, Targ, you don't get flea bottom. Play me with what you have on the board, and Targ sort of cries. Martell, play me with what's on the board, and they sort of cry. They're probably the best answer to Bitterbridge, and like. Spoiler, if you cut the 0 cost locations, which are really good, don't get me wrong, for a bunch of like 1-drop attachments that give you a strength boost that lasts forever, Targ has a much tougher time burning you.
Yeah, actually, Greyjoy with Corsair's Dirk is super good versus Target.
Yeah. So like you just stick a bunch of Corsair's Dirks in there, or like there's like 4 different attachments that do similar things.
King
Alright,
Balon
like-
with the Dirk is
Yeah.
busted
And, like,
against
You've
Target.
convinced me.
There's
I'm
just-
playing
there's-
with Cycler Blow.
There's literally nothing. There's just nothing you can do as Targ. There's nothing you can do as Martell. And if you're playing Bitterbridge, now you're like, what do I do? Like, because there's nothing specific that you can just get rid of. That deck is real strong. And then on top of those 2 decks, there's the theoretical Drowned God bullshit, including combo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think that's like 6 or 7 Greyjoy builds, man, like that are all real good against the 4 best decks in the meta.
All
Three
right.
best.
So that puts us at Tyrell as number 1.
And kind of dumb.
Obviously.
Like the whole
Yeah.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Like I think it's Tyrell, then the next 3,
Yeah.
then the next 4.
See, I can get behind that a lot more than I can get behind Greyjoy at second.
Yeah, I think you're severely underrated.
I'm not sure that Stark isn't one in the tier above, but I'm not sure of that either.
Faith Mountain.
That
I
makes
think
sense.
it needs
Yeah.
what do you call it? I think it needs Rookery.
Rookery.
I think
It needs the sideboard.
For me,
I think
I
I
just-
think the important part.
I just
Oh,
want
sorry,
the people to prove it. Go out, win tournaments, or at least
Stark?
do well with Greyjoy and Stark, and maybe
Yeah.
you're right.
So we
but-
know Stark. Stark won a big tournament.
Stark won the big tournament with Rookery, right?
Big
Was
tournament
Yeah.
rookery. What? Where?
Yeah, Chris Thompson's tournament in Indy,
Disaster
50-ish
Craftsman.
people, 50-ish people, right?
It was the
Okay,
pod format tournament.
Okay, I'm gonna
It's a little
rephrase.
odd.
European players prove that this is the
Oh.
case.
Are we doing
European
this again?
No.
Stark did pretty well actually at
It did well at Dockside, at the top
at
four.
Darkside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very much a Buzz Stark deck, actually.
Yeah,
I
it was
really enjoyed. It was tempo and kill. It was Forged March and stuff. Very similar to the old stuff I played in early
Pressure.
second edition. I call it Tempo Stark. So I used to play like a control-ish with filthy accusations and stuff. This version runs Breaking Ties and some cool interactions and Forced March. It looks like a ton of fun to play.
All right. I also agree. I think the fact that Tyrell Summer, despite the hate it was initially thrown, is the fact it's proven itself to be better or as good as Bitterbridge just sort of shows that Tyrell's not going to be going anywhere if you throw the rush in there.
No one thought
Tyrell Summer is the Knights deck, right?
No, it's just Bitterbridge just without Bitterbridge. It's Mace deck.
Uh-oh.
Like there's two of them. There's the go low version that's running the one that won Dockside that's running the small Marjorie and runs a lower curve.
So
And then there's the go big one, the one that topped aided in Zaragoza. That they're both really, really good and have good answers to Targ. They're basically tech to beat Targ.
so
Which is Targ is actually a bad matchup for Bitterbridge now, I would say. New Danny is super annoying. And if they can get her for free.
So wait a second. So if Thanos snaps and base doesn't exist, how much is Terrell still the best
Oh.
goddamn house?
First of all, why was that not our theme? Why did we not just say Thanos snapped? What part of the cycle is left? That should be a
Yeah.
tournament idea.
That is all right. So, but either way, as where we are, like there is no more Mace. How like Terrell is still the best house.
Do they still have new Mace?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Terrell
think
is
there's
still the best
much
house.
more competition. I think Targ becomes the best house.
No, I think. How?
I'm not sure. None of the
I don't think
problems
so.
with, like, the fact that they have Renown is actually pretty good versus Targ.
Targ
Like-
likes to go
Yeah,
real
target
slow.
slow.
Targ is slow, but like I think the ability to have a clear recyclable win condition that doesn't depend on challenges is what allows a Tyrell to consistently beat Targ.
So you know what deck exists, and we're all too lazy to make it because there's obviously better decks right now. That Terrell deck that says you can't be in any challenges if I don't say you can be in these challenges.
That's never proven to be consistent.
But no one's ever built it. We all go, yeah, we could build it, but why? Because Terrell is stupid.
It's kind of like the no burn Targ deck that's just
Yeah,
aggro Blood
Like, that-
Riders.
like it's
why
good,
would you
right? Like
build this?
it's good. It came in second in the tournament in New York, right? Like it's a good deck. It's just not necessary because there's clearly better shit. But there are literally like 15 of those cards. Hey, if you can't get Danny and Dragons into challenges, they're not coming back. Like those Fire and Bloods or whatever. A Dragon is no slaves. They're just gone forever.
That's actually one.
I mean, until
One
you
thing-
nuke the person with the attachment on them, and then
Like it's not just an attachment. There's High Garden. There's like character that just kneels to remove dragons from challenges whenever she wants.
Yeah.
There's like a million. There's so many ways to do it. It's not that there's two.
melee at
They've
Bitterbridge.
put like literally like 15 of those goddamn effects.
Yeah. It's actually, I think,
You might be able to lock them out, but I don't know what you're doing after that. Like,
You just run
Yeah.
some renown with it.
yeah, like you just run your
Just-
one of your 4 cost renown characters.
Yeah.
but I thought if
I
you're
just don't
playing
think that this
a
deck is
15,
consistent
like,
enough.
yeah, I don't know. That's like an 80 card deck. Sounds like
I don't think so. Like I'll have
you're
Dark
running the
Knight built.
15 challenge cards, and
That's-
then
that- That's a combo deck, right? Like I'm just gonna fucking have Dark
not-
Notch build it.
It's not a combo deck. It's just a
combo,
high
like a-
synergy deck. It's not a
Is
combo.
it a
We're gonna get back into
combination
that same
deck?
argument that we're.
Yeah, I'm
we
just gonna
always
have
do.
Dark Nods and Jesse build. It's fine. One of those two idiots will
Somebody,
show up with it. And, my God,
one of
why
our
is this?
watchers or one of our casts, can somebody send me that Greyjoy deck that I should like Greyjoy No Fun?
I mean, it needs some edits. But yeah, probably.
Aaron has
Like
it.
I built
I'll
the
build it.
early version, and then I got lazy and stopped tweaking it because I don't actually want it to be good. And then
I think it would redeem. I think it would redeem me in the eyes of like Greyjoy King to to actually win a game with Greyjoy.
he hates Greyjoy. Greyjoy King hates Greyjoy.
So
Greyjoy King, much like Balon, hates everything Greyjoy.
I have sort of a final thought that I've actually been thinking about our whole cast and generally looking at Aaron's list earlier and just thinking about the way in which 2.0 has gone so far. I think people, this is going to seem weird, but I think people are underestimating Targaryen. I think, no, it seems weird. I feel like we've consistently, like, just look at the world's meta. We consistently look at other factions, other decks, other archetypes, and warp our responses around those, and it allows Targaryen to win. And this is what happened. Just how Sandy became the world champion of Iowa, but also how Reinhardt became the world champion of the rest of the world. That's not Iowa, world minus Iowa. And
the world, got it.
And also, how James was able and Matt were able to have the Targ mirror match at Red Saturday. And there's just a variety of times where people admit the Targ is good, but they refuse to sort of admit, at least in the United States, but also. Well, I mean, all these tournaments are in the United States, but even when Europeans come and play at Worlds, that Targ is as good as it is, and I think that people should worry about Tyrell and should worry about combo and all those things, but I think the underappreciated alpha predator is Targaryen.
So I disagree with that to some extent because 4 of my 9 games at Iowa Worlds were versus Targ, playing a Targ deck, and my only loss at Red Saturday was to a Targ deck, was to a single Targ deck, playing a Targ deck. Like, I think you're right that no one...
Really anecdotal.
Well, I've played Targ more than probably anyone else at this point. And I think that the Targ mirror is incredibly unpredictable. It's super variance filled because it's like you don't really have a chance to outplay people. Like because the cards are pretty idiot proof. Like you just, I don't know. But I think that's why there's a carrying capacity for Targ in any given meta. Like you after a certain point, you just play against other Targ decks and lose. Like I went 3-2 at Siege or Bravos, whichever one the last one was, and it was because my losses. I couldn't win with combo.
So I don't think Targ is good without Second Son's Fleabon, or Targ is actually very good without Second Son's Fleabon. That's not true. I don't think Targ is as oppressive as we're making it out to be in this segment without Second Son's Fleabottom. And I think that...
But here's the thing. I don't think Targ is an oppressive deck. I'm just saying it is an incredibly strong...
I don't think it wins a lot without Second Son's Fleabottom. Better? Like, I don't think it wins tournaments nearly the rate it does without Second Son's Fleabottom.
What I've been saying about... Yeah, I agree with Aaron. And I think that what I've been saying is that there are a lot of suboptimal Targ decks because there's like pieces of Targ that are so much better. It doesn't matter what you surround them with. They might be suboptimal, but it's really a meta call. Like you have Second Son's Fleabottom, you have the Dragons, you have Burn, you have Danny, and then you have like maybe 10 other cards that you can put whatever in. And if you make the right call with those 10 cards, you win. If you don't, then you lose to another Targ deck. Like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not... I don't think it's like a good deck. I don't think we've seen the best Targ deck. I don't think that someone is like we're just throwing together 60 random cards.
All right. Well, I think that kind of brings a cap of a pretty intense, meta-heavy, high-level content episode. I'm super impressed with how this episode turned out. I'm really happy. These are, as I was saying in the pre-show, these are the episodes of Second Sons I probably enjoyed the most. So I want to thank my co-hosts for making what I hope the listeners and viewers think is a really wonderful episode. I particularly want to thank Sandy Barnabas for not playing WoW the entire episode and contributing.
Only half.
Only half of the episode. It was great. We always appreciate having Sandy on, even though he's a co-host. But WoW just grabbed your soul. Our next episode is the 9th, which will be our post Kubla episode.
Are we committed to that?
I am kind of committed to it. I
thought we were going to do a post Kubla, like day after Kubla or day of Kubla wrap up.
Possibly.
There's talks of doing it at Kubla.
Yes, but that's going to be
sounds exhausting.
That's going to be
Like,
a
that's a long
short,
day.
at least probably one co-host. I mean,
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes. But expect a post Kubla episode. It may not be the 29th, but it'll probably be that week. We may do a live from Kubla episode. If we don't, it'll be the following week. We could move it to a Wednesday or something that week. I'm flexible on the day myself, but we can make it work. But there will be a post Kubla episode. I completely forgot about making an announcement of the next hosts for Thronstoberfest, so you'll have to tune in for that episode, for our next episode where I will do that. I have 2 more regents to announce. One who's not Sandy Barnabas, who consistently turns me down when it's offered to him.
What?
Can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, that's correct.
So Sandy fanboys out there, you should pressure him, get him drunk, and get him to agree to it, like sign his name, and
Hey,
then
get
he'll
Sandy
become-
drunk. Are you sure we can do that?
I don't know.
You guys might run out of alcohol.
Sandy has rejected my overtures about this, both drunk and sober. But I want to appreciate all you listeners and viewers. Follow Buzz on YouTube, and follow us on iTunes or your various podcatcher, or on Instagram, where you can watch, not listen to a video that I made with no sound. And yeah, that's
Can you
basically
go ahead
it.
and delete that,
Spider's
please?
Web. Don't forget Spider's Web. World's first online tournament.
Oh yeah, Jesse's tournament, Spider's Web, the world's first entirely online tournament that gets you a flight to which California tournament is it?
The
Siege of Highgarden?
Siege of Highgarden. Yes,
Siege of
that's right.
Highgarden.
September 22nd is the California tournament you'd be flying to. I don't remember the date of Jesse's tournament off the top of my head.
It's right before Gen Con.
Can
the
I
weekend
complain
right
a little bit? You put it on the
Okay,
same weekend as
July.
Varberg.
Right.
Fuck you guys.
I know. That's isn't it the same? Oh no, they moved it off of the day
It
of
was
nationals.
it was the same day as U.S. Nationals, but they decided to move it.
That was
Same
Labor
day
Day
as Harvard.
weekend,
Yes,
and then
it's been Labor Day weekend for a couple of years now, but it's not as established as Kubla, so we decided, not we, Alejandro and them decided that it would move for nationals, so people could go.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
will
might
be at
still go
U.S.
to Harvard.
Nationals, so that'll probably be the last Thrones tournament that I will go to, unless besides that's outside of the Northeast. So I might go to Worlds. I haven't decided yet. If the Worlds even exists, it's not invitational. Oh, that's what another thing we didn't talk about because I was so interested in the Cycle 4 stuff. But anyway, this is not the what should we have talked about in this episode but didn't part. This is the goodbye. So goodbye. See you next episode.
Ciao.
You can thank your awards to come for giving them conversation topics.
There we go. We
didn't cover it
they
all.
get our leftovers.
You're most
so.
welcome. Ciao.
Are we still live?